Peace, Islam, greetings, Hotep, Rasta, everybody. Just got the city item come out and give a big round of applause to yourself, because it's a rainy day and a lot of people are going to stay on our work, These men travel from far to come bring in some knowledge, and we have knowledge to depart to them too. So, it's back and forth. So feel free to ask questions and impart what your knowledge to. And we're here again. This was like a fundraiser sort of, because in February we want to do a good one. Lots of people come out. Our usual so-called Moorish History Month celebration, I think. So we're here again. We've got the Grand Sheik, and we're in the Temple, Moorish Science Temple America, number 5, and they're coming here with the real. We're not into believe, we're into knowing. So study and know for yourself. And that's what it is. So we're going to turn it over to the Grand Sheik and let him give you that good. So Islam. Again.
Islam. We could start up with if anybody has any questions, because we know that there's always questions. So we can do that. We'll start with that.
Let's do a prayer. Want to do that prayer?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay, let's do it.
Boom. This way. 5 on the left, 2 on the right.
5 on the left, 2 on the right.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love. Truth, peace, freedom,
and justice.
Allah
is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
And
my salvation. By
night.
And by day.
His
Holy Prophet.
Noble Jew Ali. Islam.
Ashe.
Peace. You're thirsty, you're hungry, don't be shy. Get up and do what you gotta do. I'm gonna look at water myself right now. You got the water.
Islam.
Islam.
So for people who might not be familiar, Allah for us is arm, leg, arm, head. Arm, leg, arm, head. Arm, leg, arm, head.
See.
Right? Because the first, well, actually as well. So that one is female, and this one is male. See, there's your genitalia right there, and then there's no genitalia right there. So you know that that's female, that's male. All right? We give honors to mother or to woman or to Allah, because that's how we got here. Nobody is here unless it's through mother. So we give supreme honors to mother first and foremost, then everything after that gets its honors based on its respect for mother, right? Prophet Noble Jew Ali in 1913 started teaching us about our nationality and birthrights as Moors. By 1929, he was assassinated, and there was literature that he put out so that the Moors could have a perspective as to what this was about. From 1929 to about 2000, say 2002, 2003, a lot of this literature that we're about to read wasn't circulated amongst Moors. So they had no idea what they were really up against when the topic came up. What's our nationality? Why we're not black or whatever. So there was 3 letters that were ordered to be read at all the meetings that Moors have. One of the things that you would recognize is that even though the setting is, we got board and whatever like that, and it's class format, really it's a meeting. Right? These aren't classes. These are, regions. These are adepts. These are not just only students. These are diplomats. These are people of a high stature coming together to meet. And in our meeting, this is how we get our information to each other. This is why it's always an open forum with us. It's not because I'm up here, I know everything and everybody out there knows nothing and just listen to me. I could learn too from this quote unquote gathering, right? So if stuff comes to mind or, ether stimulates you to say something, make sure you put your hand up, say whatever you got to say, because this is for everybody learning. Omar, yeah, something to say also. It's an embassy. So embassy. The embassy. Right. Yeah. So Prophet warns all Muslims governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. And also again, with regard to Allah, is also nature. So when he's talking about violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement and receive your reward from Allah for your unjust deeds, keep doing your BS, don't worry. You're gonna get what's coming to you. Just guaranteed it's gonna happen. So shall he get his faith, right? All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. So again, during this time, there were people who lost faith in what Noble Jwali presented. So when we look at 1929, as far as the pivotal point of change for our people's situation, all the Black, African, whatever groups, 29 was when they came about full force. Because before 29, it was either you were part of UNIA or you were part of this movement, right? Even when we look at with the Rastafari movement, all those people who were in that were talking about UN declarations of rights during that time. They weren't talking the stuff that they're talking today. They were talking UN. And if you're talking about UN, then you're talking about nationhood, right? And once we're talking about nationhood, then we're talking about something way bigger than some group organization, whatever we think is for our people. Because Garvey was telling us how much every million of us, we are a nation, right? Cease wearing their turban and fez and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. Another one is the Nation of Islam came out of this first. In the 1930s up to about 1934, 35, they were wearing fezzes and all that. And then they lost faith in what the prophet got. They started saying that Fard Muhammad is the prophet. They took off their fezzes and they started doing Black Asiatic, whatever, which is directly against the lessons that they were given during this time. And again, we're going back to that idea of, once we sticking to that paradigm of we're black and we're African and whatever, then that puts us directly into the slave narrative, which the slave narrative has never brought us salvation. It's always kept us in a place of stagnancy. It's never gotten us to the place of freedom. Black Wall Street, just because they said black on it, they were able to do whatever they did to those people. Because everybody knows that the foundation of Black Wall Street were the quote unquote natives that came out of the Trail of Tears, who were getting kicked out of all the different states or whatever as they were doing their colonization in the Americas. They kept moving all the indigenous people to different states. They got to Oklahoma, they set up shop in Tulsa, everything was going good, and then people figured that we can't have this going the other way now. That other people see that this is the pattern or this is the standard that quote unquote black people could set for themselves, that they could build their own stuff. They could have their own school, their own doctors, their own whatever. They don't need the European. We couldn't have that happen. So they did what they had to do, and they had their little people to come about and call it black and say that there were Negroes there and free Negroes and all this stuff when these people were Aboriginal and indigenous people, right?
Moses Bill Cosby was trying to promote the truth. And the truth, that's why they set him up.
Right.
Because he was telling them about the same thing that explaining the truth.
Right.
And they blocked it and keep it.
Well, again, another part of that too is that he was trying to buy NBC.
Yeah, that's the next part.
Because they know that if we can tell our own story with our own medium, right? You know, Cosby Show. They weren't niggers on the Cosby Show. They were upper class. They had a house with stairs to go upstairs, 5 bedrooms upstairs and all that stuff. That's not black stuff. That's European stuff. That was a threat to the system because they know the power that the eyes
if the world knows
have.
the truth, then they're like a fallen view.
Right?
He has no power no more.
And the truth is that everything is ours.
But I think we have to remember, which is what's going on. The truth is where your mind is at. So if your mind is at where they have established it, and the Cosby Show was part of that too. Remember, they also have to have relief valves for this stuff too. Because as we start to build, if they don't give us a different channel to go on, we're going right back up to the top. I always liken it to when you put any air, like a ball underwater, what does it do? It's right up to the top.
Right.
Their job has always been to keep you down. Right? So it's really where our mind is at. Wherever your mind is at, where it's at. We keep remember, we thought we were black for the longest time. Think about how crazy that is. Now we've woken up. Now they're in real trouble. Because we're awake now. And we're awake in such ways that, you know what I mean? They're in trouble. But what are we doing about it?
Gonna do with it. Not our way.
Because ultimately, too, they've still got so many systems in place that have us divided. You know, it's the same problem we always have. We travel, as I said, whatever. We had our issues. We start at 9. You know, just certain things. We don't show up to their shit late. And usually, we don't keep working with those people. Right? So it's those kind of modalities. You know, they look after their own. We don't do those things. Those are certain things that we have to. You know, think about this. I was thinking about this. How much more attention I pay to their shit than I do my own. Certain little things that we have to start changing. Once that changes, they say once your mind changes,
Conditions change.
Conditions change, and they already are. You can see that. This already too is a result of the mind state changing. Right here, right now.
These are the last days, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But part of it too is recognizing it and honoring it.
Some people recognize it, but still
That's right. That's really what's happening now. I told this to people for 6 years. This man's already knocked out, right? The European's already knocked out, but he's falling. It was real slow. We're kind of in disbelief. We're watching him fall. Right?
This is a holy and divine movement founded by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is setting out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Juali.
So I just, when I hear that, when I listen to that, I realize he's telling you everything there. And sort of when I hear it, sometimes it glosses over in my mind. God set this stuff up. He sent a man down here in the flesh yet again to tell us some stuff. Now, do we listen to his word?
And again, the prophet therefore is sending out a plea, a divine plea to all Moorish Americans. So he's talking to anybody who's in this jurisdiction. Now this is the flag of Morocco, but it does not deal with kingdom over there in Africa only. Because as Brother Hakeem would tell us, and our Noble Juali told us, that this is Morocco is also an empire, not just a kingdom in Africa. And when we look at the Moroccan Empire went from over there to over here. So the fact that we're over here, that's why we can fly this. That's why we can say that we're Moors. That's why we can even say that we're Moroccan. And it's not limited to just that kingdom over there in Africa. And again, empires supersede kingdoms.
And in fact, when you think about it, if they had come and run over the headquarters, where would the last place they would want to acknowledge Morocco be? As far away as from home base as possible. That's why Morocco over there, they're trying to connect you back to. And somehow that's your part. Morocco's here.
So when we look at, for example, when we look at the map, we have Canada, and we have United States, Mexico, and then all that's North America, right? Under Mexico and below, all those places have a name that is tied to the people who are there. Brazil, Cuba, wherever, all of that, right? Above that is colonial land. But what was that before the colonials were here? That was Morocco. They would say Maghreb Al-Aqsa. Morocco, the farthest west. Morocco, the farthest west.
The bastardization would be Al-Morocco,
right?
which would be Al, and then the bastardizing out of that would be Al-American.
When we look at now, if Morocco is in Africa and over here is Morocco, then that would mean over here is Africa too. All right. So the original name of Africa is a Mexam. There's somewhere here, right? AME.
American Express.
AME. Right? AME, RICA, America. That's over here. Because Africa is really over here. Because over there is Asia. So all the people who are over there claiming that it's Africa, that's why the Asian could go to this place and have so much power there. Because it's over there is really Asia. Just look at it on a map. Russia and all that stuff is North Asia. Africa is South Asia. And then you come on this side, which the Atlantic Ocean is what they call a cosmic mirror. What's on that side is also on this side. And the Atlantic Ocean is the reflection of over there and over here. So over there they say Nile, over here we say Mississippi,
Really, it has been reversed.
right?
To a sense, right? Because they call it Mississippi the Nile.
Right.
And it really was. Really what they've done is just turn the mirror.
They just turn the mirror. So
That's
that
something good for people who don't catch the meaning.
so they don't catch what's going on.
Because the meaning's in the word. And the word is the gospel.
And it helps open the people's minds.
Absolutely. So calling this the Nile would be over for them.
Right? This is why Nova Drawley said that Moors were living up and down the Mississippi River before the European came here. The same way that Moors were living up and down the Nile before over
They
here.
were the first navigation.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
They here with us.
Yeah. But now, bringing that up, if we were the first navigators, right? To dock a boat is called mooring, nothing else.
Because even when the European they did not know to navigate a boat, it was we who sang and we can help them to find
They might come
the way
down.
around the ocean.
They come down.
We ourselves don't know.
Yeah.
Not lead them.
Right.
Yeah, man, very
Not
concrete.
lead them.
Because they didn't know where they were going, they didn't have any type of knowledge of that. But go ahead.
That's what I want to say with the actual spelling of the word. More has a magic and an energy to it. You are that which bores people to the land. So you are that root. So I'd say even when we're talking about the wording, even the word more, that was most important to make sure we stop identifying it more.
Come out of your mouth more.
Right. But the point being that if we know, like for example, like you said, we're the first navigators of, right? We know this, but it's called that. Forget navigating.
Absolutely.
It's called mooring because the Moors were the ones who were navigating. It wasn't the Africans, it wasn't the black guys, it wasn't the Sumerians, it wasn't the.
They didn't call us in African, they call us Moors, like it was on that one.
That's what we're telling you. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So when we say right, that's European. Who's he really?
A lost soul.
So he is really Emmanuel. Hell, that's a Moorish title. And he told them, UN Declaration, Article 15, everyone has a right to a nationality. Him saying, instead of Charles Edwards, Emmanuel, and then L is a Moorish name, and then he's telling them Article 15, UN Declaration, everyone has a nationality. Even in the Rastafarian school, he's telling them that we're all Moors. Right? Moorish Jews of Harlem were the only Jews invited to the coronation of Haile Selassie in 1930. Personal invite. Why? Because they were Moorish.
Because we're the standard order.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't African, it wasn't black, it wasn't ancient, whatever we want to make up some ancient people. It was Moorish, is what the point is. The importance of even what Brother Alfonso's doing with doing this here. Getting Moors to come back to where they really are. Right? We've been here ample amount of times. You see Jawil here all the time. Because it resonates with them. Other races that come in and out of these sessions because it resonates with them. Now hold on a second. Yeah, there's something about this. We have a connection to this. And we're not saying take away anything that you've already been doing. We're saying add this on to everything that you're doing. And then this is going to take it to that next level where, you know, we want this to be, or this is supposed to be, or whatever, because now, once everybody's saying El or they or Al, and all of us are saying that we're Moors, regardless of what our religion is, that's people's personal stuff. That has nothing to do with anything. Pray to who you want to. But know that our bloodline is that we're Moors. That's where we get the unity from. That's how we make the link. Please and love. There's a love of it. Right? That's how we make the tie. Right? There was another letter to be proclaimed at every meeting. I'm glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. Right? Same thing that you were saying. The truth is out now. But what Noble Juali is presenting to us, that there's a truth, but there's also a divine truth. Forget the truth that everybody else is knowing. What's the divine truth? From within. The truth that every man is God incarnate. The truth that Allah and man are one. The truth that if Haile Selassie is God, then I'm God too. Because he's a man and
You can't separate yourself from it.
Can't disconnect. Can't disconnect.
Look here, man.
Can't disconnect.
You see, true man never know believe in coming in the flesh as man to make man see, don't it? As a king.
Yeah.
Because a wise man don't know that's a yeah.
When he's curious.
Eh?
Just the curious. When he's curious.
No, I know that chicken color people mean. You know that's a yes. You know, let me tell you something, man. I listen last year. And the creator. You understand? If you don't understand that, I'm going to last, you know.
Let's pick up the transit over there. Yeah, let's pick up the little more today goes to November 2nd. So this is the coronation for the Emperor and the Empress. And we have holy respect and love for the Emperor and the Empress. So a little later we're gonna have
So who's the Emperor?
hold on, man. Right? You have the Empress, Empress many, right? In one. See?
Alright.
So we have lots of respect for the Emperor and the Empress.
Guys, you die in a lot.
Hold on, man. Today on November 2nd. So we have some Rastaman about the place. And we have some drum beating. We have some drum beating. We have some drum beating later on. We'll give some reference to the a little later on. So let us hold attention and let the present the information. And then, you know, it's not a debate tonight. It's an elementary school, so we're just there to learn. And the other man stuff to teach those. So the later if the other want say a few words about his majesty and things, we'll give you the floor. And you know, can do that. No problem. I just want this value I use it, right? Islam?
Like we're talking about empire. If we're talking about empire, emperors rule empires. Right? Empresses rule empires. Kings and queens rule kingdoms. Emperors and empresses rule empires. Ethiopia is part of the Moroccan Empire. The headwear that you see these Moors wearing or whatever is no different than a triple crown. It even has the button on the top. Because he was sending signals to the world. He told the Trinidadians and he told the Jamaicans when he went there to go visit that they are brothers and sisters with the Ethiopians.
I'm looking forward to see you asking this question. As soon as you said that, I remember hearing you talk about it in pain, but I know he was there.
Say that again?
I never hear you talk too much about human being, but I know he was there.
Yeah, I know. I never heard about them going there.
Yeah, because I was trying to do some stuff, and there's stuff that shows that it's never in English. It's like French or Creole, so
Right.
Creole you can't understand. So there is something. But that's the fundamental truth. Yeah.
Right? And but even when we go to that, we look at Toussaint Louverture.
Yeah.
How was he dressed like? He was dressed like an emir. Who's the emir? The emirs were the Moors.
I watched the movie with Toussaint. I watched with the Asian Revolution, and they had Toussaint in the movie, and they were fighting the French, and side by side, shoulder to shoulder with Toussaint was the feds wearing red feds wearing. I'm like, what? So they're showing it like so everybody knows the history that we're connected as a people to the Moors, and the Moors are connected to us. Like that's who we are. That's the people are known as Moors.
And it has to be a awakening for everybody across the board, that we get out of the worship other stuff instead of worshiping ourselves, giving honors to ourselves. Even Marcus Garvey told us that we must canonize our saints. What does we canonize our saints mean? Mean that we honor our own. You not honor one guy. All across the board, we give honors.
Yeah.
Because everybody came here with even if they just gave a rice grain for us to be liberated. Honor them for their rice grain that they gave us. As soon as we say all the energy to one individual, then we miss the point, because nobody else does that. If we talk if we go to Mexico, we talk to them, they're going to tell you about 50, 100 different people that they give honors to.
Yeah.
Go to India, 50, 100 people they give honors to. All of them looking like themselves. No foreigners. All of them looking just like them. And this is what the Moorish paradigm is. The Moorish paradigm is us galvanizing everything that we have. That's why the Nuwapians, Dr. Malachi York had the picture with everybody in it. All the different leaders in it. It's called We Are Family. Even Selassie's in it. Right? Yeah, the same picture. Right? Another one.
I was just saying that Bobby Hammond said that what we have to remember is that there was a lot of people that came before us to be able to realize what we have here today.
Yeah. Right? There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people on our side of the nation that claimed that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, the only sole foundation that all dark-skinned people have to attach to is that we have a nationality. If you don't have a nationality, you're stateless out here. If you don't have a nationality, no God that you say you honor is going to respect you or honor you and give you the blessings that you deserve. No angels are going to honor you and give you the blessings that you deserve. Anything that you think is, no Orishas are going to look at you and give you the honors that you deserve. If you don't have a nationality, just look out there at all the other people in the world that have a nationality. Look how good their stuff is compared to us.
So Jamaican, is that a nationality?
No, because Jamaican's a colonial term. That if we ask Marcus Garvey, he'll tell you that he's maroon. Which is Moors, which is why there's Moortown in Jamaica and Portmore and all this Moor stuff there to tie to the Moors.
And on January 6th every year, they have a celebration up in Maroon Land. My friends go there and go there.
Maroon is the same as the Moorish.
In a different, yeah.
They just changed the name to keep you guessing.
To keep us chasing after.
Because we don't want to identify with the fact that they put some maroon on it, so don't connect with it because it doesn't sound the same way. It's all the language, right?
Like you change Nannyville to Moortown, right in your face.
As you're coming along here right now, coming from where we're you pass Mooresburg.
Mooresburg, Merrickville. Merrick means more.
We have Iroquois as well up there, but Iroquois was just the tribe name for our whole consortium running this whole thing.
Because the Iroquois was a confederation. of a bunch of different Moors.
Look here, and the more.
What more do you want?
She's right in your face. Problem is, you know what the problem is? We don't know what to do next. That's really what our problem is. We've now got the light, we don't know what to do right now. That's a bit of our problem. And it's because, like I was saying earlier, they've got us in a maze. You never get out of the maze unless you fly off to what there is, and that maze is that financial maze. You want to make some real money, you better buy, you better pay, you better sign off on the lie. If not, then you're going to be considered a terrorist. So anyone who's really speaking against what they're about is considered a terrorist. Well, they just might be living their life. Look at the stuff that's going on with Iran and the rest of the world. Unless you agree with what they want to state is the fact.
Yes, brother. Come on. Come on, let's go over it. Come on, I love you. Read it out, everyone. Yes, sir.
I'd say this, the first thing that I know, you see how we're having this meeting here? The first thing you know is that the powers that be meet, they talk about their stuff. They figure out what moves to make, and then what people make it. That's why they use the term chess, those kind of things in checkers. Either you're making one move, or you're making 15 moves ahead. We're talking about certain institutions that are making 500 moves ahead. We can't even get here on time on a certain level. So you're saying, how are we destined to do anything? And yet we're mad, and we think that some God's going to come. The God's within. And we're not acting properly. I have my empress mad as hell all the time because I'm not ordered. I say I'm divided. I got this stuff, right? But you know what she's doing? I realize this. When I counter it, she's raising an offspring. She came, you know, it wasn't my. It's not my offspring. It's hers from a different thing. But that to me is the pinnacle of everything. The next life coming forward. And I know I'm doing the other work on the side. That when she's having her issues, she's going to be able to come. But they're from Japan, so they got a nationality. She laughs at us. She's actually. I'm upset because I have to continue to defend how messed up we are. I'll be honest with you, because they don't mess around. When they do their stuff, when they make a call, everyone's there. When she looks at what we do, she thinks this is a joke. I kid you not.
What do you do as the Moorish community, as a so-called black community?
Definitely as the Moorish community. She doesn't even consider it. But what's interesting is crazy. When she came in from Japan, she wasn't looking for no European. She met a guy from Yamakwe, had a child, and then you know what he did? He went off and was screwing everyone around the thing, using her credit card to run up debts.
So that's the impression she got.
Yeah, but wait a minute. She didn't even go to the European. So first of all, she didn't even lay down sort of with the dot. You know what I'm saying? On a certain way, she went with what she thought because
was the God.
Because that's what they're being taught in their schools, eh?
Yeah,
When you talk to them about stuff, they know who the hell's here, but they just come back and they're sitting back. For the first year I was with her, I said, talk. She wouldn't talk. I realized, you know what? She was trained to observe. So she sat and watched me.
No, and then
now that she's got me, she's like, you're a bum. That's what she's, you know what I mean? That's what she's called me. And on certain levels, but then you don't watch us do that because we all had our empress say that. Then watch, I'm driving her to her little ballet on one day, right? I say, so I'm a bum, eh? Right? She had to be quiet because ultimately we do our work. But on certain levels, we're just not together.
Islam, just want to put on the record again, because I know there's a lot of people that are asked to be here tonight, you know, not expecting them to come out. Again, Prince Emmanuel, when he went to the petition the United Nations, he petitioned him under Article 15, as we all know, which is the right for nationality. So he recognized that although we were Jamaican, that wasn't the nationality that we could use to give us any lawful remedy. So he knew that claiming to be Ethiopian, that wasn't something we could use either in that context. So he petitioned the United Nations under Article 15, they were right to a nationality. So he knew what the problem was, that which what Marcus recognized too, and he said the nigger won't be happy until you have a nationality. So nationality is a concept that we have to grasp as a people, because it's about bloodline, right? And we are all the same bloodline. Some of us have different faiths, some of us might be Christian, some of us are Hebrew, some of us are, Rastas, but we're all of the same blood. Right? So we all have the same nationality. It's like you have Chinese people, some of them are atheists, some of them are, Thais, some of them are Muslims, some of them are Buddhists, they're all Chinese.
Right.
So that's what we're saying, unity. When you look up the word unity in a law dictionary, it's dealing with a state, the land. right? So let's keep that in mind, right? That we're all one family, okay? And sometimes being our brothers, we might have different opinions or whatever. You like football, I like soccer, whatever, but we're brothers, we're family. We're still
But the
family.
thing is, with this nationality, this thing keeps bugging me. What's it like? It's a nationality before independence, after independence.
If you look at it,
Nationality, I mean, okay, say I play soccer for Jamaica.
yeah,
I'm playing a national sport as a soccer player.
yeah,
I'm not playing for Barbados or Trinidad, although we are not.
right, right.
So, you know, like right now, I got kind of confused with the idea of nationality and black. What is nationality?
So because of colonial, because of colonials having our mind, they're able to put out a narrative, and then we go with the narrative because we don't know any better. So
Well, I want to say that because some national nations
for example,
popular with nutmeg, some popular with
right, but for example, because we're talking about the islands, right?
Yeah.
The so-called islands that we say is the Caribbean, right? Those are the mountaintops of Atlantis that sank. The islands are Atlantis. The lost land of Atlantis, those are the mountaintops sticking out of the water. Right? So everybody on the island is really Atlantean. All those names that we're talking about.
We have Jamaicans. We have
But that's what I'm saying. That's the narrative. Like when they
so
say
why God doesn't bless Trinidad like when they bless Jamaica.
the,
They do, and more.
When I look in the Olympics, I don't see Trinidad and Jamaica firing with Jamaica. When I look at music, I don't see Trinidad firing with Jamaica or any other black country. When I look in religion, I don't see Trinidad or any other black country firing with Jamaica. So when I look at nationality, I'm trying to say, why is this nationality different as black people from the other black?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. If you nationalize and you're Moor, if you're a child and you're born from Moorish family, that means from birth you know your right to nationalize.
No, what
Wait,
I'm really,
no,
you're talking nonsense.
No, listen.
What I'm coming from,
I'm trying to
no, that's nonsense. What I'm saying is, right, why there must be a purpose for the blessing. And when you put a blank as a blank thing and
who created the Olympics? Us or Europeans?
Whether it's Olympics, whether it's religion, whether it's music,
who created it?
whether it's new, I'm telling you, in the Bible said,
let me ask you this.
He is gonna come and he wants to see your talents.
Who did?
There's no talents nowhere.
You spoke about independence, right? Who did Jamaicans get their independence from? Themselves or from Europeans? Hold on a second. Who did Jamaicans get their? All right. So hold on a second, right? All right. So Jamaicans got their independence from Europeans, right? Europeans slave master, right?
Europeans must have run the show.
So it must be Europeans running the show.
No.
If they gave hold on a second, because
let me tell you what happened. There's a king named Theodorus. He sent $4 billion in gold to President Lincoln for the freedom of black people.
How come they're still slaves then? How come they're still slaves then?
Because they killed them and they stole the money.
Oh,
no,
so what does that tell you?
And on those same premise, he get us independence.
Who got you independence?
President Kennedy said, Haile Selassie single-handedly caused the independence of 130 million people and 30 nations.
How? When they claimed independence before that? What do you mean? Don't forget, it's not just Jamaica that got independence. Barbados got the independence too.
30 nations.
Trinidad and Tobago got independence too. Antigua, Bermuda, everywhere got independence.
130 million people, right? From Haile Selassie, proven in the Bible that nobody else could do it.
Okay, where the Bible come from?
I don't care where it comes
No, you
from.
better care because
I'm telling you, facts and proof.
no, but it's not
Prophecy
facts.
and proof.
If you're telling me the
I'm
Bible,
showing you the proof.
no, but if you're telling me the Bible, that's not facts. That's not facts.
The
The
Bible
Bi-
says,
the
in
Bi- hold on.
Isaiah 48, it says, I created all these things. Nothing before me was created. Since His Majesty get crowned in 1930, technology have changed 7 times, which have never changed in thousands of years. Remember that.
But that's not because of him getting born.
No.
That's not because of him getting born.
He's saying there's creation never started
Oh, come on now, you can't even.
from all of those time until now.
Oh, come on,
Stop
now,
that.
that's crazy. Now, that's crazy. That's
You're
crazy.
talking crazy now.
Please, let
I'm not talking. I'm not talking business.
Just wait a minute.
let him speak though.
Wait a minute. Man here, it's raining outside. We want to get home. We want to get back to the day. So I'm going to say something and make the man get, so hopefully the man can get right back on point that that's the same way. To me, what you're asking is what is a nationality? Like I was saying, a child who's born in a Moorish family means from he's born, he already knows what's up. That doesn't stop him from going to Olympics and defeat the people for Jamaica. He knows himself. White cartel come out of the world and say, yo, my father's a builder. I went in that prison and just my killer money that Jamaica. And he's suffering on people on there. You want to talk to me?
I don't know what you're saying.
No, you're not making sense to you.
Over here during the wartime, in the Second World War, all the Japanese people of Japanese descent that were in so-called Canada, didn't matter if they were born here, didn't matter if they had a citizenship, they got taken up, they seized their property, they put some of them in internment camps, they deported some of them. So having a citizenship, a Canadian citizenship, didn't protect us, right? Having a Jamaican citizenship doesn't protect you because all he did was change British subject to Jamaican citizen. Okay, we're talking about
Which is why they were
nationality law now,
Which is why they could go across when all of that happened.
right?
Like people were just.
But hold on, but you have to tell the other side to that story. 50 years later, 60 years later, Japan is going back to Canada for reparations. I understand that. But that's because that's being done on a national level. Because you took us out as nationals, fine, because you knew we were bombing your ass. But at the end of the day, when the stuff comes back to being equal, we get our shit back. That's really what's supposed to happen at this. We're supposed to get our shit back. They can't do that right now, because by doing that, they gotta walk out of the office right now. Understand this, right? They gotta leave that.
Right? The whole
Okay, one person speaking live, please have
We behave like I respect because I tell them a knowledge of facts and they told me I'm talking nonsense.
Well, you're
I'm
okay.
saying you're not talking
Hey,
nonsense.
You're right. You can have your opinion. You can say what you know, and then let people digest it. Let the people go and research it for themselves.
Okay,
For example,
you have
right?
to know the difference of it. You're talking
For example,
about
right?
spiritual,
For example.
cultural,
No
spiritual.
spiritual points.
Listen, he's talking from a political,
That's
realistic,
no
and
political reality.
For example, let me show you a political reality. Let me show you
Talk
a political reality, right? Let me show you a political reality, right? When somebody from Jamaica, right, gets in trouble in Canada, right? If they're so independent, how come they deport them back to where they're from?
Christian.
No, hold on a second. Answer the question. When somebody from Jamaica, hold on a second. When somebody from Jamaica gets in trouble and they go to prison here, right?
Because they say Jamaica is their nationality.
All right. So let me ask you this then.
But still remember, Jamaica should be taking them back happily.
Oh,
yeah.
how come they're getting sent back? How come they're so independent, but a European is telling them that they have to go back?
And when you send back the
To somewhere.
record, everything follows.
Because they have a Jamaican nationality.
All right.
What he said is that everything follows.
So in your mind, you don't see that Europeans own Jamaican nationality? That's why they can do that to them people?
Listen to me.
No, honestly. So you don't see that?
Board, not African nationality.
You don't see that?
Africa have board. Africa can't even sell board. Europeans
Why?
sell
How
African board.
come? How come?
Europeans sell
How come?
African
How
diamond.
come?
Europeans sell
How
everything
come
in
though?
Africa.
How come? How
Africa
come?
don't sell nothing
How
for
come?
themselves.
Why? Why?
Listen, you should
Why?
answer that question.
I know, I'm asking you.
Because
I'm asking you.
they
Let me
never
tell you why. Let me tell you why.
No,
Let me
let
tell
me
you why.
tell you. Let
Because
me
you
tell
missed.
you. You
Because
ask
you
the
missed.
question.
Let me tell you why.
Let me tell
Let me
you.
tell you why.
No.
Because
Let me tell you.
Africa is Asia. We talked about that
No, we're
already.
talking nonsense.
Because it's not no Europeans selling anything in Africa. It's Asians selling everything in Africa right now.
Well, the point is,
It's
Africa's
Asian.
not selling nothing.
Why? Because there's no such people called African. Ain't nobody called African. Africa's a continent.
No.
People are not continents.
Yeah, it's
People
Africa,
are not
yeah,
continents.
they're not called
People
Africa.
are not continents.
Yeah. Zimbabwe.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. They don't call themselves African. You just said African.
It doesn't matter what I'm saying is, all those places are being exploited and
But why
they were
are
not
they being
prosperous.
exploited?
This is their own land.
No, it's not their own land. No, it's not their own land.
Listen,
If it was their own land, they would have
this is
controlled
their own
everything.
land. That's where they are from. That's where they are
If they were,
thousands
if
and
that
thousands of
was
years.
their own land, just like we told you the last time that you came here and you caused the same stuff
They
that you
can
did
say
the
that
last
to
time.
us. They can say they brought us to the
Just
West
like,
Indies.
just like the
They
last
didn't
time.
bring them here.
Let me tell you, just like the last time, just like the last time when you Tucker and this elder were at this thing the last time, doing the same thing that you're doing right now, bringing up the same argument that we don't have nothing to prove to anybody. There's somebody right there that's a Moor that got out of deportation because he knows he's a Moor. So don't tell me anything about Jamaica.
But me,
Don't even tell me anything about it.
well, I'm going to tell you something.
What ID you got in your pocket? You got ID on you?
Eh?
You got ID?
ID.
Yeah, ID. You got ID?
Yeah.
What's your name? What's your name?
My name?
Yeah.
My name is Carl.
Carl.
Yeah.
Carl, right? Hold on a second. Your name is Carl, right? Hold on a second.
Hold on. You have been up here with you there. Hey. You know what? It's not. Wait, let's worry about it. What do you want to do? He wanted to wait it up. Well, they were going to put me on a plane the next day to send me back, right? I mean, pray temporary, I'm going to tell you, it's only one could help I. And my mother-in-law come to the parlor and them things.
Oh, so it was your mother-in-law. It wasn't Haile Selassie that did nothing. It's your mother-in-law. It was your mother-in-law. It wasn't no Haile Selassie.
They work in many ways, man. No problem. Listen, they work in many ways, man. Please laugh for a second, okay? Please, first of all, okay? Let me tell you something. People came out here tonight. Don't play the father. Don't take the father. Who fighting Selassie? Who fighting Selassie? Why would I invite you? Why?
Stop this.
You know why? No problem. Hey, we don't have a problem with Selassie. Everybody knows that Selassie is God. We don't have any problem on that. Me, you know, I don't confuse that. I walk on the fire. That man says, Selassie stay like every other man. And me, this is not one man special. If you want to do that, that's fine with you. Hey, the brother was slave ruler here and master. That's right.
We're burning up right now. We're burning up right now.
That's the same thing that comes every time. You see how the Rasta people is here? This man of the Rasta, this man of the Rasta, that man of the Rasta, that man of the Rasta, this man of the Rasta.
Oh, wait,
They're not
how
behaving like that. Why do you even come there?
Remember what I said to you earlier?
Why come you guys already know what this is about?
Say that quote again. Say that quote again. Say that quote.
Even those who don't know the truth come and speak and fight against you.
We're humble themselves, you know?
A man for humble.
They just come and
And
they
listen
came
to
here to do
yourself.
it. This
Listen to
wrong.
others.
That's what we do every time.
Each one teach
Hold
them.
on. Because if they're always making noise,
The reason why I asked him, he phoned me 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, he said, when the Moors coming back? When the Moors come back? I said, are you sure? He said, yeah, man, we want to come out to the thing. Come out here, I'm in the car. And since so I do the same thing again.
it's a special.
We have nothing against your Selassie. We love your Selassie. We can't say that. We say that. We have no problem with your Selassie.
You should have brought the picture here.
Yeah, the picture. Yeah. That's what they did it. That's what they did it. Right.
So it's like A man who lack of knowledge has gonna cause problems.
No, but we have that
You
across
have
the
one
board.
conception in your mind, and that conception you can't buy that conception.
That's all, there's no expansion, right? They're seeing through a people, and that's all they see. What's through that people? They didn't open the door, look down the hall, or nothing like that.
Important question, no matter what is
I know, I
meant.
was hoping to get an
Yeah,
answer.
yeah, that's why I did that though.
Yeah. If
Because
I watch things, okay, and I see people stand up against the law.
Yeah.
And the law can't even touch them.
Yeah.
Back away from
Yeah.
them. Can't even arrest them.
Yeah.
Now, if you do something, don't you go to jail right now?
Oh, yeah.
Because it does not have the
Immediately.
rights and no right to stand up for himself.
Immediately.
Because I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've faced it. Me faced it before.
Right.
In this place. So
Yeah.
I know.
Right.
You understand? He may face a lot.
No, you receive him.
But
In-laws,
his mind is not expand to learn
Yeah.
from a broad point of view.
But again,
It's
too,
in a narrow road.
part of the, because we know that it's an exorcism. You know that it's an exorcism, that certain people, you have to let them get the demons out, right? But sometimes they become the demon
Yeah, exactly.
in their exorcism. Just like with the movie, that it's a girl on the bed, but she's spinning the hair around or whatever like that. She's a human being. How she doing that? Because the demon has her. So by me asking him his name was to call out the demon, because I'm a high priest. That's why I wear this. That's why I have crystals and stuff like that, right? That's why I have Oregon in my pocket or whatever. I'm not just up here because I feel like it. We know that this element happens when we have these type of things, especially when it's people who we already know. As soon as you told me, oh yeah, Tucker's gonna be here, we already know. Oh, here we go. When is the demon gonna jump out?
Once it's freedom, you got the right to change the physical. It can't be normal. You have to see it from the body.
Once the people get to that place of wanting to be free, they put down all their childish things and be adults. Certain people are locked in their child mind, which is cool. It's not for everybody, but it was the greatest thing for them to do, get up and leave. But it had to be invoked for them to do that. They weren't going to do that on their own.
They invoke their own self.
They weren't going to do that on their own. Yeah. Right? They had to get holy water thrown on them for them to jump out of themselves. It's like what we say, it's like what we say with just turn the yes. It's like what we say with when people who don't get what this is, right? Pull them on our side and say, you know what? How about this? How about step out of yourself and then tell yourself so you can get what we're trying to say. Because we know that this information resonates with the soul. We know this information stimulates certain things in people that's going to get them to stop. Hold on a second. Nah, that's not. And then just like what you're saying, well, I've been through certain things. So I already know what's up. I already know that it's all about knowing the law. It's all about spirituality. It's not about, and like Bro was saying, we don't have no issues with Haile Selassie. But if you're going to tell me that guy who I know is a man and I see popes kiss his hand and all that type of stuff, which lets me know that he's a living being. If that living being is God, then you can't tell me I'm not God. If you're trying to tell me
He represents God. But remember, he can't save my soul or rights on my
simple.
I have to find myself.
Simple.
Let me say something.
Simple.
He said, yes, I accept that my brothers and sisters see like who we are. And we as Africans are known to be as that access. So I must understand what I do now will be changed and has to be changed by the oncoming generation. I will be replaced by the younger generation. You must also know that your deity emanates from deity.
I know. I
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I know myself. I know.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be more. So I'll have 2 videos. You got to adapt it. When I see it, I know. Sometimes I answer, okay? Sometimes I burn my split, and sometimes I love when that part happened in those two videos. I like my split. JFK Kennedy is shaking like crazy. And see, last year I went up there with a speech and he was shaking like crazy. So I came to Jamaica, came out to the plane, shaking, went on the plane, prayed, and came out. But everyone was on answers and put something on somebody's shoulders almost like, especially when he's like they say to the top side.
Yeah.
He was destined to lead. But yes, we did not admit that this man had fear. Fear of what he had to do, fear of what he was doing.
But also too, the fear of who it is that he was connecting to. Because 7 days after Haile Selassie met JFK, that's when they assassinated JFK. And then when you go check the coronation, everything was in line with 7. There's 7 priests, 7 candles on the whatever. 7 days before the
you know what
7 everything.
that means? That means a lot because it is a numerical factor. But even a man like them should see this. Okay, these people don't play. That means if you do something, they will kill the ass in 7 days. So if you get past 7 days, you might have a good away. If you get past 2 weeks, maybe something is going on. You get past a month, changes happen, do what you have to do, but no, that means they can come for you. Or maybe you did something that either it broke something, probably your neighborhood where you created a divided line now. So they know now, okay, these are all the bad people that can control the military. You gotta leave them and do what they're doing. You can't just rush them like that. But if we can rush in 7 days, they're gonna show them who has power, take you out, and then they're gonna go back and do the same shit.
And then that's the power. Because what did JFK learn from meeting Haile Selassie? That we have a constitution here. We can bring back the gold standard. We can bring back the republic.
Yes, because he brought all the silver. He brought gold and silver to America for that. Yeah, that is true. Because he brought gold and silver to America for that.
Because that was the whole issue with U.S. and America, Canada, or whatever. That this is a colonial jurisdiction. Colonials came in, they took over. And they said, forget everything that has to do with rule of law, forget everything that has to do with rights. We're going to be doing our own stuff, have people messed up, so make them destroy themselves. And then we sit back and all we do is reap the spoils. You have somebody who's a sovereign of an empire going around the world to all the so-called Negro, black, colored people, showing himself as who it is that we really are. The rulers of the planet. Look at me and look at my empress. Look at us. Look, Pope's kissing my ring. You know who I am if the Pope's kissing my ring? The Pope is the Europeans' God. That's their vicar. That's the guy who is Jesus' best friend. And he's kissing my ring. What does that mean about me? And then if I look a certain way, what does that mean about everybody who looks like me? Pope should be going around kissing everybody's ring. Which is why the new Pope, you see him going around kissing people's feet, washing people's feet. Because what do you realize? That the lie can't be told anymore. The truth is now being unearthed, and they can't even get around it. They can't even hide anymore. They can't even hide anymore. The truth is so in the open that they're putting it in movies now. They got movies coming on a regular. The truth in there. But they also know that the people are so blind that they're not going to get the message. Only the 144,000 is going to see this movie and realize what's going on and be like, oh yeah, they're talking about us or whatever. And everybody else is going to be lost.
What does Hancock represent? Because I've been wanting to answer that for a lot of this time. So true, man. Hancock.
With the Will Smith?
Represents their representative.
I'm surprised you guys haven't hit that up. I've never heard you guys speak on that, but every time I watch it, at the end when he's all happy, he's a new superhero ready to serve and save the world. He flies off, when the screen goes blank and he flies off, and there's a picture of the red, black, and green gold right there. Flying on the last thing you see as he flies off.
Right, and again, going back to that thing, that individual who represented that flag, he's not the only one that's God. You wear those colors, you're God. You're incarnate. What did he do? What was his thing? He was an alcoholic, drunk, and he's a superhero still. People love him or whatever. He's a drunk, sleeping on a bench and whatever like that. What did he realize within himself? That he's God incarnate. Forget about powers and whatever. Superman. His name's Kal-El. Why is his name Kal-El? But he's a Moor. Why is he wearing blue and red? Because that's us. That's RNA, DNA. Why is he Kal-El? Why is Superman's dad named El? Right? Why they make X-Men out of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King? Professor X and Magneto. Magneto was Malcolm. Professor X was Martin Luther King. And everybody's thinking superheroes or whatever. What superheroes? They're talking about real people. Right?
So we cleared the line. We talked about nationality. And my brother Rascally, I'm a Christian global. And the main reason why is that the thesis is not clear. The concept is not quite clear. Where are you heading with nationality? What is it supposed to bring to black people? What does nationality mean to you? And what is it supposed to bring to those who think they are black people? That's what we want to start getting first, before we can come with the conversation.
So,
because it started basically with you mentioned nationality, but
right.
you kind of touched it lightly and then moved on.
Right. So nationality means that you're tied to a nation. Our nation is Morocco. Right? Because this flag represents an empire, not a kingdom, not a country, whatever. This represents an empire. Right? By us calling ourselves Negro, Black, Colored, African, or whatever, those aren't nationalities.
Okay, but define an empire. What's an empire? That's compared to kingdom.
That's where you stopped. You were doing emperor, empress, empire, king, kingdom, something.
I would just say empire has to do with a certain logistical amount of land. So a kingdom might be like, let's say 4 nations. An empire might be half the world, as an example.
Well, that's what I really.
So, but I'm saying that should negate it from what he was saying, which is most important. It takes you out of in a administrative, bureaucratic, and sort of a technical way. It takes you out of being a slave and gives you rights and protections, which are then reflected by certain. I guess it would be a banner. This isn't a banner. This is a national flag. So what this represents is that when you get yourself into trouble, anyone who gets themselves into trouble, this goes back to being on the seas. Anyone who gets themselves into trouble would then fly their flag, which would then be connected with their status in the world. As a black man, you would have none of those. So then you would be booty and prize. So that's where what you ask about what nationality does is it takes us out of the mindset when they say, who are you? And you say to yourself, I'm a black man, all of a sudden you just put yourself back into being a slave.
Also, the fact that we're gathering, we're organizing, the fact we have like Black Wall Street, Garvey gave us a flag. And burned Black Wall Street, they shot the flag, but Garvey made us a nation. He made us a nation. It wasn't necessarily a black nation after he was black. He had to do what he is. He's a black man coming out of Jamaica, come from where Garvey come from. To get people to stand up and say, black people united and give them the vote for that. It's a big deal.
So yeah, just to reiterate again, what
You say Gabi gave us a rating.
Yeah.
all
No,
right.
I wouldn't say that Garvey gave us a nation.
In a sense,
I would say
his nation to me,
inspired nationhood.
yeah.
He inspired nationhood, but he didn't give us a nation. We were already a nation. He knew that we were already a nation, which is why he was always talking nationhood.
But he knows that in America is the reason why he made it black. Because if I'm right, even in Jamaica, Garvey grew up in Jamaica. Garvey learned about racism young. Garvey went to America and understand about self-hate. Like the black man, really children, the black man. Like this is crazy. But you have to make us right. You have to come up with a
To give back something a higher level of
We're close to the KKK than the rest of the young people. Just to show you.
I mean, respecting the sorry, as a businessman. So every time I think of that, like it rubs me wrong, like I never want to agree that he has to speak, but after he man makes things on. You know what I mean?
That's fine. So Gabi gave us a flag.
Yeah.
Gabby talked about nationality for black people.
Yeah.
And where does that tie in with this?
We got
Okay.
a problem with that?
Let me answer that. Let me answer that. The flag that Marcus Garvey presented, right? If you go look back, you'll see that was the Sudanese national flag, right? So that's dealing with Sudanese. That's dealing with the empire again, right? That's dealing with Moorish. That's dealing with Islam, right? Marcus Garvey teacher. That was, as you know, this is the man that first introduced me to Duz Ali, right? So he was taught by the father of Pan-African, who was a Fez-wearing Moor. You know what I mean? And I'll say, may we our rights proclaim in the name of Allah, one God, one aim, one destiny. Islam.
I know, and again, with regards to that,
But where is the consistency right now?
Right.
The team.
I'm about to show
Because
you.
there's the team from Marcus Garvey,
Right,
which Rasta is representing, or
Right.
thinks he's representing.
right,
Then there's the team coming from Morocco here,
right.
which the brothers here, you think you're explaining to the rest of us in the United States.
Yeah.
So we are they tie together in your analysis. That's what I want to understand.
They don't. And that's why we keep trying to have these meetings here to let you understand that the only reason we're not connecting is because we're refusing to. On some, and the question should be posted back to you. Why aren't we connected?
Why I think that was the next question I was going to ask. So
Right.
that's it,
But I'm throwing that back on you.
But
Why
again-
aren't we connected?
sorry,
Why aren't we connecting?
With each other, with each other.
sorry, which
With each
Because
other.
you're coming from the Marcus Garvey.
okay, if we go back to how this whole movement
Right.
started, like you pointed between 1913
Right.
and 1929,
Right.
mystical period there.
Right.
Okay. Noble Drew, I just come back from Egypt.
Right,
Marcus Garvey, I just come into the United States and was preaching.
right,
Okay. There was a ferment of activity going on.
right.
There were different strong men around.
Right,
Okay.
right.
What I have from my understanding, Marcus Garvey and Noble Drew had a very special relationship.
right,
Okay, and that's why I asked,
right. So,
where is the connection between Marcus Garvey's
I'm about to show
philosophy
you.
and what you're saying? And you're telling me they're not connected.
I'm about to show you right now.
Right?
Listen to the connection. The connection is that Marcus Garvey got visited by Noble Drew Ali when he was in Atlanta prison. Right?
I said they were very close.
Yeah.
That's just one of the incidents. They were very, very
Yes,
close.
yes.
Marcus Noble Drew Ali was like Marcus Garvey's phobia man. If you want to
Yeah, but remember,
he was
but he was-
He's gonna
Right.
tell you
Of course, I
something
understand that.
Well, remember,
specifically happened with
Hold on. What I'm just stressing for you is that I fully understand that relationship.
Right.
So I just say, what about the philosophy? Because they came together. I'm saying the same thing.
right. So then there's
So where is the separation today?
There is none.
there's
It's in our
You
mind.
just
no,
told me
there-
that there is separation.
I think you misunderstood what you were trying to do.
Jokes, can I say something? Yeah, Marcus Garvey was a Garvey, Negro Black Code, European Garvey, right? Noble Drew Ali came to teach him who Noble Drew Ali knew he had a lot of knowledge in civics somewhat, because he was talking about unity in politics. Remember, he had the ships and whatnot, he had the business, right? He had those bunch of ships that he got to sell and whatnot, right? He taught about unity, which is what we're talking about right now, why are we unifying? And what he left out was that, the nationality part, where it came in later when Moorish Ali gave him those teachings. Without a nationality, people will never know who they truly are, their true identity.
and
So that's what the link up.
that message was in the letters that Garvey wrote from prison after the visit. That this is why I talk about the sellout. Because people got those letters and they didn't relay the message that Garvey's on the level of nationality now. Because in the letters is what Brother Reddy is saying, page 268 of Philosophies and Opinions, Marcus Garvey is writing, telling them the Negro is not going to be happy until he has a nationality. What's the nationality? The nationality is that we're actually Moroccans. We're Moors. And again, the tie that's made, people are gonna be tied into the ideology. Right? Just like the Rastas, they're tied into the religion. Just like we talk to Hebrews, they're tied to the religion. We know that Israelites are ancient Canaanites. Israelites are Canaanites. Moors say that we're Canaanites and Moabites. So Israelites can't say that they're not Moors. Any ones that do say that they're not Moors, we know that they're part of the sellout or they're incompetent. and they're not ready to learn. So we let them stay over there. We're trying to galvanize all the people who are on the same mindset of realizing that, okay, it's about nationality. We can't be talking the fictions anymore.
Okay, Reverend, can I make some statements? You know what we're dealing with is a very serious thing. It's existential. Okay? It is it's everything to us. That's our reality, and we can't afford to play with it. Okay, we can't afford to quibble. Okay, we have to take it straight.
Right.
I remember that all over the world, people that are sensible, okay, India, Africa, Jamaica, they dedicate one day, usually sometimes more than a day, to their heroes, to celebrate their heroes, because they know that your present march today, it was paved by the blood and bones of your heroes, right? That made it possible for you and where you are today. All right. One of the greatest heroes we had as colored people, black people, Moorish people, the greatest of the greatest that ever came that we saw was Marcus Garvey.
Mm-hmm.
Before Marcus Garvey stepped on the continent of the United States, there was nothing like what he had. There was no movement of consciousness. Everybody was knocked out. We were just coming out of slavery. Okay? And it was black man selling black man. Then they had Harlem. Okay? And in Harlem, the biggest sort of pimping and prostitution was going on at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Black people had simply no consciousness. And out of the blues, this man appeared like a voice in the wilderness and started screaming. And everybody heard him. Everybody got mesmerized. Anybody that was anybody in the black community got mesmerized. Yeah. Right up to Noble Raleigh. Everybody recognized him and said, that man is something with him. Noble Raleigh, he's an American. Marcus Garvey is not an American. He came from Jamaica.
Yes, Jamaica's
right.
America.
That's what I'm saying. So when he stepped in here, he raised the spirit of the people here, such that even the American elders and the American icons that we had, the African Americans or the Black Americans, or whatever you want to call them, looked at him and said, that is somebody special.
Right.
Him was sent.
Yeah.
There's a light shining on him.
Right.
And hold on, let me just drop it. And everybody gathered around to help him move his message.
Right.
There was the other side that was fighting against him.
NAACP,
those that went to school.
WB,
Okay.
Right.
And whatever happened.
Talented 10
we come down to this day. So what I'm trying to say is that I recognize there was the Marcus Garvey School.
Yeah.
Okay? Together with the spirituality of the Noble Raleigh brought him.
Yeah.
But there was the Marcus Garvey School. And there was the NAACP School.
Yeah.
Those are the two schools that started, and then they split out into thousands and thousands and thousands of schools. But anyone that is on the Moorish track, everybody went to school under Marcus Garvey. Okay? And Noble Raleigh.
Right.
But we shouldn't come here and act like there are two different streams. What we should be doing as Black people is trying to identify the commonality between all these movements. Because people might have their different peculiarities. If we start focusing on that, there will never be unity. One of the things that piss me off about this whole movement, this new Black consciousness coming, is that they are focused on pettiness. So this group, the one will say, until you stop saying black, you're lost. That's nothing. That's not the centrality we are fighting about. I could use the word black. It doesn't mean I don't know who I am.
Yeah, but you can do that with us because we get what you're saying. But when you go out in the outside world, they don't play.
Yes,
people are
but we get stuck on it too much. What I'm trying to say is that the message has been given. What Bob Marley told us is, as it has been said, let it be done. Finish it up. There's nothing new coming in anymore.
Right. What do you get from this? Let me read this and then let me know what you get from this. Right. The last prophet in these days is Noble Raleigh, who was prepared divinely in due time by Allah to redeem men from their sinful ways and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus in those days, to warn and stir up the nation and prepare them to receive the divine creed which was to be taught by Jesus. In these modern days, there came a forerunner that was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name is Marcus Garvey, who did teach and warn the nations of the earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet, who is to bring the true and divine creed of Islam, and his name is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth by Allah to teach the old-time religion and the everlasting gospel to the sons of man, that every nation shall and must worship under their own vine and fig tree, and return to their own and be one with their Father God Allah.
Everything there is correct. Let me ask you a question. Who wrote it?
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali. Good. What did he mention about himself? He said, prepared by Allah to establish religion. That's all he said. Read it again.
In these modern days, there came a forerunner that was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name is Marcus Garvey, who did teach and warn the nations of the earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet, who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam, and his name is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth by Allah to teach the old-time religion.
Okay, hold it there. Okay, my brother. So,
Right.
2 times he stressed what he came to do.
Right.
It's about religion. He's giving us the pure. Which religion?
Absolutely.
Which religion?
Absolutely.
Answer that. Which religion?
Yeah.
Yes, which one?
Which
He said-
submission
he
to
did
the
say which
Almighty.
one.
Submission to the
No,
Almighty.
no, wait a minute. He didn't say that.
Sorry?
Which religion did he
He
say?
said Islam.
Old
He
time.
said-
What is
Right.
Islam? Old religion.
Old
Thank you. Old time. What old time? Submission to the Almighty.
Old time.
He's certified religion is being
way
Islam.
of life. It's not going to pray to this and bow to that.
I'm not
It's
arguing with
a
that.
way of life.
The content of the religion, I don't argue with that. Okay? All right.
Point you miss. Old time religion. Not what's going on today. Praise the Lord. No.
When you see a Rasta man, but my brother, it's like you're wasting time, because when you see a Rasta man, I live the old time religion. It's a way of life.
So you live
I
this.
know that.
So you live
So I'm
this
just
life.
saying, I know that.
So
Let's
what's
move ahead,
brother
because
man,
we still have time.
Brother man, you see, he wants to move on. He wants to say something. What's the old-time religion of the Rasta? I'm a young Rasta. I should be happy to answer this question with the elders.
Yeah.
You seem very good at explaining it. So what's the old-time religion of the Rasta?
The old time religion is the way of life, way of righteousness.
What does the Bible speak with you as a Rasta?
It's not Bible we're talking about.
No,
We're
I'm
talking
just
about
asking-
old time
I'm
religion.
not asking Bible
Right.
or religion. When it comes to religion,
Right. What does the Bible
wait,
talk about?
wait, to me,
I'm just trying to
wait,
understand.
to me, Rasta is never and not will be a religion.
I just told you a way of life. Wasn't that what I said?
Okay.
Again and again, I said way of life.
I'm just saying, but we will not put the Bible down. So where does the Bible stand?
Sorry?
Where does the Bible stand?
Or what is
Where does the Bible stand with me? The Bible talks about righteousness, which is liberty again. Which is pure liberty.
So, but
Okay.
can I just make one statement, just one observation? What's interesting is when he asked you what the religion was, you didn't name one of the religions. You actually named an attribute of the religion, which was how you were going to live, right?
Religion itself.
What did you say
Way of
religion
life.
was? Just mention it. What did you say it was? It was what? What did he say again?
Way of life.
A way of life. So you didn't say I'm Christian. You didn't say I'm whatever. You said it's a way of life. And what religion really is bringing you back to the old time religion, which is what he said was Islam, which was not Islam without the acronym, which was I.
And you guys are missing out the key points. Creed.
Hasn't Rastafari been teaching this from the beginning?
Absolutely. So then I
So
asked,
hold on. Isn't it when my brother started? Just an example I'm giving, because I have seen it all over. I spent years and years following the Moorish movement. I have watched all kind of videos from you. I've seen where the big heads start quarreling with each other. Okay? Sometimes you see one of the big men there from New York who start cussing. I'll remember their names. And it used to make me ashamed of myself when I see that.
No, but
Okay.
see, but part of it, right? Part of it is again after Noble Drew Ali transition, right? There was something in the Moorish movement called the Great Schism, where the people who had what Noble Drew Ali brought took it and they started doing their own thing with it, not doing what was supposed to be done with it. Which is why the confusion came about, which is why you see this guy over here talking something, and this guy over here wants to debate him because of whatever, because they moved away from what this was really about, nationhood. This was really about us bringing ourselves, like the brother said, when we say that religion, we're talking about realigning ourselves with the old ways, realigning ourselves with the old concepts, bringing back, giving honors to our foremothers and forefathers, because our foremothers and forefathers were the founders of civilization. That has nothing to do with religion, how our people think it is. Religion, like you say, is a way of life. A way of life is us being ourselves. A way of life is us honoring our foremothers and forefathers. And we know
is being able to live our life.
We know that our foremothers and forefathers before slavery is 700 years of Moorish history that everybody avoids. They jump over that and then they go into some other stuff past the Moorish history and not even bring up the Moors, which means you're dishonoring your foremothers and forefathers because you can't skip over that part of history. You have to, if we trace back, we say, okay, we're slaves in America. And then we trace back and then we say ancient Egyptians. And then we start talking about Cushites and we start talking about all these other things without dealing with the Moorish paradigm. As soon as we skip over that, that's what Noble Jawali is talking about, what was the sin of our people.
This is right there in your life.
Because we're not honoring, we're not, how the master teacher says in that, where you fall, you're gonna have to get up there. You can't fall here and get up over there. If we fell as Moors, we're gonna have to rise as Moors before we do anything else.
Islam.
Which is why we're stressing the point of nationality and Moorish nationality on top of that. Yeah, we can probably say that we're Ghanaian or Nigerian or whatever nationality, but that's not who we fell as.
And it goes back to when you're asking the question, because he was going to tell you a Christian slave name, the other brother.
Right.
He was going to give you a Christian name.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing, and that's dishonoring your ancestors. Totally. The brother was here, remember he asked
You know, the same slave name as me, William.
Charles.
William.
Well, his name is Rascal. We know him.
No, but that's
It doesn't matter what he tells, but we know him.
No, but
Maybe he got pissed off. Maybe he got
the
pissed off.
point,
Maybe Rascal. No, he's a Rascal man.
no, but this is what I'm saying.
That's the one we want to know.
The point that I was making, that's why I asked him about the ID.
Could be Carl, yes. But what about your own? What ID do you travel?
Yeah, I have Moorish ID.
When you're traveling out of North America, do you travel out of North America with the Moorish ID?
No.
Do you use the passport?
I use the passport.
What name do you have on it?
The name on the passport is Kevin McCletchy.
Okay.
But hold on a second.
We focus on those little.
Hold on a second.
That's huge. That's huge. That's everything.
That's bigger than you think it is.
Biggest thing. We just need to know the significance.
No.
Listen, we got to be realistic. You are dealing with powers, okay, right now, beyond our control. You are dealing with nuclear powers. You are dealing with, but if you step out of here, and if we right in here, 3 policemen coming right here and tell us, break it up, everybody's going to leave here.
No.
Hold on. Okay, just not block. Let us not block, my brother. If you don't live here, you will get arrested. You know that, right? You will live here, but if you don't, hold on, let me drop my point, okay? I have, everybody has something he does for living, okay? Right. It's my way of life. That side of life. If police come in here and break up this meeting, everybody would have to leave. You don't leave, they will bring in SWAT here.
Why?
If you beat up SWAT, let me finish, please. Let's not just start shooting off our mouth like we just want to die. We want to be real. I said, this we're dealing with our existence, our life.
Yes.
Okay, let's not make postures.
Yeah, but again,
We are dealing with a terrible, terrible power. So what do? We are smart. Hold on, we are smart like the serpent.
But what
humble like
but what does smart mean?
We are humble like the dove.
Listen,
I can come here. There's something they have in Islam. All right, I'll let it go.
Listen, right?
No, I am not as a serpent.
I am as a living.
One by one.
This one is.
One by one.
Having a spiritual experience in a physical being. Understand? My eyes is a window to the world. Okay? It's like, you know,
No, that was everything.
Right. What you're talking about as far as us not posturing or whatever, right? We're coming from a perspective of knowing. I know that when I go to the border, I give the passport and I give my other card too. I know that. I know that I do that.
You can never treat it like a
That
I know that I do that.
when they give you.
I know that when I give a passport, I know that when I give a passport, I have my fez on in the passport. I know when I'm in the airport, I have my fez on. I know when I go through the whatever, they look at my stuff, they look at me, they send me to the back every time. And every time I go to the back, when I'm sitting down there in the back, after I show my passport, you know what I'm doing with them? They're not searching my bags or whatever. They're asking me, why are you wearing that? Who are you? Yeah. What do you mean you're a Moor? What does that mean? This is the people who got the badge and all that stuff. I know that behind closed doors. This is not stuff that we come out and expose to people because they're not going to go with what we're saying. We already know that.
No, they're not going to talk about that.
They're not going to talk about that in the open.
And I just
I'm bringing this
I
up.
Yeah, you can ask this. I want to ask a question. But I have one person.
One at a time, guys.
Ask a question and ask a question, make sure you know.
To make sure I know
It's
what's
not
up.
that they don't know.
Just okay. I want just 2-3 words. You're talking about your feds. I have my tongue with my red, gold, and green. You know what I've been to airports all over the world with that. Yeah. So the fact that my brother still said my name is Carl, you shouldn't say this way. He knows who he is. He has his red, gold, and green on.
But the point
if it can work with you, why can't it work with him?
Well, see, this is the difference. That when the so-called police whoever comes up, right, and says, "Let me see your ID," if he gives a license, he's on his own. Because a license means that you're these people's property. I'm indigenous. I have my own ID. I don't need these people's ID. I use it out of, like you're saying, because we're in this corrupt system.
We don't get our own boat like Marcus Garvey, because if Marcus Garvey ship was around and him and Noble Jolly Connect, they wouldn't need their passport to travel.
We are saying the same thing.
Brother,
What I'm just saying, if we are saying the same thing, then why must we try to diss one another?
No,
And try to tell that guy, oh, what you said is not quite right. Well, we should say it, even if it's far. We say, you know, I think we can come to a junction because we are moving along the same path.
Right, but
you understand?
but
nobody has it completely right.
But that could only happen with people who are not closed-minded. Those two people who are in here, we've already see what just happened? This has happened 3 times since we've came up here.
It's not the first.
This is not the first time. So I already know what's up.
If you knew what you see,
I already know what's up.
Okay? It is emblematic, just a figure. It doesn't really mean anything to me. But listen, everybody knows Rascally. Rascally has got a rude way he acts, okay? And sometimes he just does it it's more like comic. There was nothing really serious in that. So that's really, but I'm just using that as an example of some of the things that challenges we face as a people moving forward as one and going to attain our objective.
Right, but like I'm saying, I know, right? I know that
thyself, men, know thyself. More than once the Bible telling you, know yourself. Yeah, I'm Tom Jones. Oh, John.
No, for matter of fact, that's how we are the living Bible.
Huh?
That's a basic.
No, I'm only saying.
We are the living Bible.
I know, but I'm saying, 18 warning you to know yourself.
Yeah.
And if you carry somebody else's name,
you don't know yourself.
Simple as that.
It's that simple.
That's
It's that simple.
Control over the
Right?
That's right.
In our environment.
If somebody leaves something for you to inherit in this name, 40 years after you change your name and come back, I want to get my inheritance. Oh, not you. That's not the name of the person. Look, it's written there. It's not you. Even when it's fresh, it's you, but you change your stuff and you want to come back and get it. Well, John left and you come say your name Harry. No, it's for John. You can't get it. Birthright, you can't have it with that fake name. You can't. Simple.
How come we're the only set of people that are using somebody else's name?
Yeah.
We're the only set of people. You go around the planet, you see Maharaja, the Borowski, Kazagugu, Indogo, right? They all have their own name, right? That ties them back to their land, their culture, their people. Our people out here, right? Different than maybe you today because you're from, from over the motherland, right? But the rest of us that are here from this side, Williams, Smith, Jones, Johnson, that's somebody else. That's identity theft, right? That puts us, that's property. The property doesn't have rights. Property can't effectuate nothing. Because somebody, you have to go ask master everything you want to do. You want to go to the bathroom? Go ask master. Because he owns you. So this whole movement is about us coming out of that status, going back and having a free national name, right, that we can use to navigate. Clearly though, we've been stuck in this paradigm for so long that he's right. He's not just, when he goes to the border, he's going to show his passport that he's got a special on these all rights reserved. Because we know they're going to put up a thing. But if we start teaching the youth from today, this ain't about us. All of us are old. This is about the youth growing up and having this so they know that they're not Johnson, Jones, Smith, Williams, all these things. But we keep giving them those names and then blaming the European for everything. We're doing it, right? All of us here gave your youth the name that you got. You didn't see most of us maybe changed the first name, right? Jamal or whatever the first name now, but you're still saying Smith. You're still saying Jones. You're still saying, so that's what this movement is partly about, addressing that fact and moving on from that. Islam?
And again, going back to the concept of the connection with Garvey, is that he was calling his thing Negro. We're not Negroes. We're not Negroes.
Yes.
Yes, he was impacting.
He was asked that question.
Yes, he was impacting.
Brother Wayne did give me.
Sorry, Alfonso Jamal L. I gave back Wayne to the Europeans.
Long time ago, some people from Marcus Garvey. And they asked Marcus Garvey, why you call yourself Negro? Should we call ourselves black or should we call ourselves Negro? He said, don't call yourself black. Because he said, okay. He said black, it's a color. Okay, and there's nobody that answers color. But Negro, he says it's better. Because
remember Marcus Garvey come up and said, we are copper.
So he said what?
He changed from said Negro and said we are copper. And when the copper take over the world, it's gonna be I have all of the
I think I'm just trying to explain the story that he told.
Right,
I read myself from his book.
Right.
Okay. So they asked him, why does he use the word Negro? He says Negro comes from the River Niger.
Right.
And River Niger is a river in Africa.
Right.
So that is the territory we come from.
No.
So that was his explanation.
So we're talking
that
about.
Doesn't mean Marcus Garvey was everybody's.
Remember,
because the Rasta said he was the forerunner of His Majesty.
Yeah,
But the Rasta said
that's impossible. But that's impossible because Haile Selassie never claimed Marcus Garvey as his forerunner.
Oh no! You miss it completely. Haile Selassie used to sponsor Marcus Garvey. Wait a minute. Most people don't know this fact. If you want to know some fact, I will give you fact.
Did Haile Selassie out of his mouth claim? You see that guy right there, Marcus Garvey? Just like Jesus claimed John as the forerunner.
What I'm here to tell you that I will not come here and tell you a lie or stand
I'm not saying you're lying.
Wait a minute.
I'm not saying you're lying.
Let me
Let
you give me some space to talk.
But more. Just
you understand? Just give me some. It's like you don't want to hear the word coming out of my mouth.
Make it fine.
I have a backpack.
Make it fine.
All right. When Marcus Garvey used to go to the United Nations to address the United Nations, the first time he ever went there, no human being can go to the United Nations on his own. You have to be sponsored by a nation. What nation sponsored him?
Abyssinia.
No, Ghana was not existing.
Abyssinia.
Thank you. You know your history. And
on,
let me finish. And I said, why don't you guys give me a chance? And Haiti.
Wasn't it coming involved in that already?
Haiti and Haile Selassie, we are the ones that gave you the sponsorship, gave you passport, gave you money.
Haile Selassie used to send big money to the UNIA through a prince of Persia. Okay, I've forgotten the man's name, but I had the. If you want me to go dig it out, I will spend 1 week and I'll dig it out.
Yeah, man, dig it out.
Two of them were like this.
Right.
That's what most people don't understand.
But again, right? The question was, there's nowhere that Haile Selassie said out of his mouth that Marcus Garvey is my forerunner. Nowhere.
I don't remember.
Right?
I don't
We have documentation.
Garvey calling Haile Selassie. Did you hear about Marcus Garvey calling Haile Selassie at the county line?
Oh, you called him all kind of things.
Okay, so it's
You called him all kind of nasty names.
But it was a yes or no question.
Sorry.
Yes, you did.
Sorry?
Yes, you did. You heard of that?
Of what?
Of course he did. We all heard of that. That's not some secret.
Did you hear of that?
Calling, yes, I've heard that. And
Okay.
was. And I said was.
Okay.
But I'm also telling you that there would not have been Marcus Garvey without the money of Haile Selassie backing him up.
Right?
From 1911.
We're not disagreeing with that.
Right? Right? From 1911.
So he was produced by
Who
his
made Marcus
majesty.
Garvey? Who made Marcus Garvey?
Sorry?
You don't know who made Marcus Garvey?
Who?
His father.
Sorry?
His father.
Whose father?
Marcus Garvey would stomp your head in if you disrespect his father. That's what a Jamaican
I
media.
don't understand. Who makes it? Somebody made Marcus
Brother.
Listen to him.
Marcus Garvey's father is a serious man. Marcus Garvey, as a child, will stomp your head in if you disrespect his father. That's what we are as Jamaicans. People don't know. He went to the States. Yes, they copied it. This man from the States. Garvey saving Jamaica. He wasn't here necessarily saving black people. But stop. See, you're not elder and you don't want to hear talk as a Rastaman. I'm defending Garvey, who is it's not Haile Selassie why I go my nuts. It's Garvey why I go my it's Garvey why I go my nuts. I don't joke. Alright? I don't have to go be a national more. I don't know who Garvey is. Selassie I wear fez on his head with a crown. I ain't gonna go there. I don't need to be some disrespect. But Rastaman, we don't know anything. I don't know. That's a bullshit now, but my God. Talk. Sometimes you want to talk. You know, talk.
But hold on, can I just say something right now, Diego? Just for us, it's 8:15.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we seem to have gotten ourselves in the space right here. I'm telling you that right now. It's been like half hour, 40 minutes. You've been on a run.
No.
Yeah, I mean, and you're doing this language stuff.
I thought that you guys are running this seminar in a very
We're
good way, where you could continue advancing your teaching in answering people's questions.
Look.
But hold on, my brother. If you don't want me to talk, I'll walk out of here, please.
You know what I just mean?
No, one man talk at a time, guys. No, got it. Get it.
It's another one.
Tell them who I am.
Get it. We're even loving.
So Marcus Garvey said, we're Negro because of Niger River. Right? Okay.
Next one now.
Right? Noble Drew Ali presented to us the 101 questionnaire. Question and answer. 101 questions, 101 answers. You don't have to do any research. But it would help if you did the research so you could know exactly what's going on. Right? Question 85. Name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors of Northwest by the European nations in 1774. Negro, black, colored, and Ethiopian. Why is Ethiopian one of the marks, one of the brands? Because that was Abyssinia. Ain't no such thing called Ethiopia. So all these Rastafarians talk about Ethiopian emperor or whatever like that, they're living a fraud. Because when Haile Selassie went to the UN, when Haile Selassie was funding Marcus Garvey, he was emperor of Abyssinia. He was no emperor of Ethiopia. Ain't no Ethiopia.
And I'll say this is somewhat, I think, the problem with the following after certain things that end up in an illusion. You end up at a spot where you sort of have to, this is the problem. That's why he asked, how come we're not together? Because you can't admit to the issues that are going on. And when I mentioned that to him, he stepped back and he continued to sort of to do whatever he was doing. You notice his body language, he was getting up, he was doing his whole thing, right?
Right? UNIA, everybody knows. 1916 is UNIA. 1913 is Noble Drew Ali. Who's the founder? Who came first? Question 86. What is meant by the word Negro? Negro, a name given to a river in West Africa by Moors because it contained black water. Didn't you just say that that's why Marcus Garvey said that we're Negro? Okay, so there was that. Everybody knows, and everybody's going to quote Marcus Garvey. Everybody's going to be quoting Marcus Garvey. And this is Noble Drew Ali talking. That every nation shall and must worship under their own vine and fig tree. Don't they say that's Marcus Garvey's quote?
I don't know much about that. I know it
They
represents.
always say that that's Marcus Garvey's quote. You must return to your own vine and fig tree. How come that's in Noble Drew Ali's literature? Who came in 1913? How come Negro is a river with black water by the Moors, and that's Noble Drew Ali in 1913, and they're going to attribute it to Marcus Garvey?
You know, it's interesting, they're not going to pull it the same way he was accusing us of not pulling out all the facts. Whenever someone in here had something to refute that, all of a sudden he didn't know about that. What's that? It was, I don't know about that fact. You knew his facts, right? So, anyways, I mean, this is the so we know that, but this is the problem. He wants to understand this is the problem. He now spent an hour.
Yeah, and he walked away. So what was the point about that? You're not gonna
Absolutely,
let
but
us-
think about this from a certain perspective. Watch this. Think about this from a certain perspective. If it was about us not getting ahead, he's definitely held us up, hasn't he?
Definitely.
Anyway, we
came-
can focus on that.
But so we'll open up for questions. If anybody's got questions, put those up.
But I learned some stuff too.
Absolutely. Through the
Yeah.
shit, through the shit, you get the thing. But I'm saying that I think there's a more effective way.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a more effective way. But that's what I'm saying. What you realize is sometimes these
But
situations
you know
happen.
something like he's so rooted in what he stands for, and he's
So he's passionate, which is
yeah,
great.
Yeah, but remember, brother Alfonso,
Yeah.
but keep in mind, Brother Alfonso lets the cat out the bag that he's not even from this side. He already has his nationality. He don't need to hear none of this.
Exactly. So there, it's like they just.
He already got his, he's already part of a nation,
Which one is what? So
wherever it is. He's not from this side. Yeah, he's not from this side,
yeah, you said that.
right? So the whole Negro black color doesn't apply to him like that. But when we go to the lessons and we start talking about Marcus Garvey and Noble Drew Ali and we're bringing these people into unity, and then we're proving that, hold on a second, well, obviously Marcus Garvey didn't have it all together if he's calling his stuff Negro. And if he is calling it Negro, and Noble Drew Ali said Negro is a river, whatever, in 1913, obviously he got that from Noble Drew Ali. If we do research, Brother Alfonso brought up the one God, one aim, one destiny that comes from the UNIA, but anybody who rests Marcus Garvey, they never bring up the part that they talk about Allah in that, which is Islamic. Why is this black guy talking about Islamic and Allah and all this stuff in the UNIA if they weren't Moors, or if he wasn't taught by Moors, or if some type of connection to Moors wasn't obviously there? Because they recognize who Allah is in the UNIA. They recognize Dus Muhammad Ali as a spearhead of the UNIA. One of the founders of the philosophies in the UNIA was Dus Muhammad Ali, who was a fez-wearing Moor from the Sudan. Dus Muhammad Ali's paper was one of the first papers that Marcus Garvey was writing for before he was even doing UNIA stuff. So if he worked for a Moor, then what's the issue? People not wanting to accept the fact that we have to return to what the foundation is. If we do not return to what the foundation is, we're going to stay lost as a people. Period. And everybody knows that nationality is the order of the day. If we say China, and they have all these different areas in China, just like we say blacks in America, and they have all these different areas. When we say China, hey, you guys have a flag, everybody's going to put up one flag, no matter what their religion is. no matter what their financial bracket is, no matter, what their name is, everybody's gonna have one flag. You go to Hindustanis in Pakistan, Sri Lanka, whatever, you guys got a flag over there? One flag. Come to America, hey, you guys got a flag? You got a Trinidad flag over here, Jamaican flag over here, this flag over here. Everybody jump up and wave and all this type of stuff. And we don't get the issue. Why we're separated, why everybody else is united. And then on top of that, all those stuff that we're waving aren't even flags, those are banners that were given to us by Europeans.
Banners. And the main one.
And then we want to accept that
the main
we're
hypocrites.
hypocrites.
Red stripe one over there. That main one. The song they sing. Star Spangled
Banner.
Flag. Not flag. Banner. In the song. In the song. The banner, not a flag.
And like before, when you asked about travel, I traveled not this September, August 1 before to Jamaica. And my son, first time he went, has grown up. And I got the passport where my rights in it too, with my national ID cards in the middle, rights to travel card. When I reached to Jamaica, this is my personal experience, not no video that I watch on telling you this. This is my personal experience. Go up to Mr. Custom. In general, on the usual time that I go before this time, how long are you gonna stay? What did you carry? What? Those are the things I would showcase. Put up your suitcase, open it up. Okay, all right, go. This time now. Give him my passport, with my card in the middle. You look at it. I wish my son could finish it because he was surprised. He could finish this thing. Tell him what happens when you look at the passport. He said, my friend, go and tell your people the truth. You don't ask me how long I'm going to stay. You don't ask me what I carry. You don't even want to talk to him. What happened when you talk to him is that I didn't fill out some piece of paperwork with like some proper name, address where I'm staying. He said, no, you don't do it. You, the young one, take away. He had to do it. I told him, you have to do it. Young one, fill it out. Fill it out for your father. And he said, go and tell your people the truth. Don't hold it back. Don't hold it back. Those was his words. Do not hold it back. Go and tell them the truth. Just the fact that they see those cards in my, not the passport, because I used that before. The first time now I go with the cards in the middle, and this is my personal experience. This is what I want. Go and tell the people. Wow.
Well, one of the lessons is that you're the card. You knowing yourself, you knowing who you are, is really what this is about. Any type of Moorish cards, Moorish papers, Moorish whatever, is just an example of your mindset. If your mindset doesn't match that card's not going to work. Card's just a piece of plastic. That's why Noble Drew Ali said when we read in the beginning, don't show your card to the European, because that's for your salvation. You having that is so that you can be saved. It's not for you to show them, so now you're saved because you had the card, you showed the European, and now they're going to, oh my gosh, you're a Moor, we're going to leave you alone. That's not what it's for. The card is a secondary for you. The papers is an example of what your mindset is, because guarantee you, all these Moors could vouch that they're going to test you on, you think you know you're a Moor? You think you're a Moor? Okay, let's put you in the whole 30 days and let's see how you're going to be a Moor. Let's see if you're going to be a Moor when you take your property. You're going to be a Moor after, or you're going to give up being a Moor so you can get your little stuff back? Oh, you got a car? Okay, well, how about we take your stuff and let's see if you're going to be a Moor to keep your stuff. Or you just going to forget being a Moor and give me my stuff back. Because you think that it's about the stuff. It's not about the stuff, it's about your essence. It's about who are you? If we're saying that, if we've been saying that we're Negro black colored people, and we've gotten nowhere saying that we're that, gotten nothing. We had many different relatives or whatever who got into whatever type of situations and couldn't get out of them because of them having this dead status. We had people who they said, you know what, I'm gonna take my house and I'm gonna give it to the church before I give this to the grandchildren. And they willingly just gave it to the church just because. And then when you go to Hindustanis, Pakistanis, whatever like that, they're not playing that stuff. They're not playing give their stuff away instead of giving it to their progeny. We have serious work that we have to do first before we start talking about we want cards and we want papers and we want rights and we want all this stuff. We need to get our spirit right. We had two wonderful examples of our spirit not being right. Because we're their brothers. European out there, you're not playing that stuff. You start yelling all that stuff, they beat your ass with a billy club. Throw you in the back of the car. Kidnap you for some crap. Just because we want to play like we know so whatever, and then when push comes to shove and we don't know anything, these people know, oh, you guys don't know anything. You don't know anything. And it's a wrap. As easy as that. All these so-called shootings, murders happening, highwayman kicking people's ass or whatever. Why are police doing that for? Just because they feel like it? Because they can do that to those people. I don't see Chinese getting their ass beat.
I think one of the things we talk about is
Once it happened.
Yeah.
On the airplane, but that
They pay a price.
Immediately.
They pay a big price.
Big price for that.
Big price.
a lot of people don't know that when you become a police officer, especially like on the Mountie, a lot of information that you're given right now, they give them basic and right information, which means when you go out here, you put over somebody and somebody behave a certain way. Even business-wise, put out a card or something like that and give you family name. To them, to us, we're complaining about name, right? And they already set it up. They can keep their regular name, but in their system, you put that name in. Right? I was with somebody the other day, and she said we got pulled over. You know what the biggest problem was when I asked her? She had trees on her. I said, what's the biggest fear? She said, my name. I said, why? Because she said, if you punched up my name, the shit that's already tied to my name and get my family behind it, it's a big problem. It's like, you shouldn't be with these kind of people. We know you're half black or half African, but you shouldn't be with these people. Kind of thing when you see the last one. So they don't tell people that they get a certain training when you go out here, and you have to make up your Somali brother. I met a Somali mom 2 summers ago, and my son was training to become a police officer. And I started the reason the man we got deep enough. I said, we talked to you about Abdul Rahim, that's the young brother that got killed, right? And he said, brother, I tried to disconnect myself from that totally. I said, why? He said, because I'm not going in there to seek answers or answers. I'm going in there to do a job. I wanted to try this as a career, and I wanted to do it. A year after I went back, I talked to my mom. I went to the solution for her. It's like she talked to me, eventually we changed his mind. He said, I want to be a police officer. He got so far, and I know I didn't want to get into it with him too much, but he got so far, and I saw he had his head down like he wants to work in youth and help the youth. He got so far, I went to now, he changed his mind, totally took it different. His sister, she's the top security at the parliament. So he knows certain things already. And when I was with him, he's almost like, yeah, bro, Somali. Not bullshit ones. You have brothers out there, Somali brothers shoot each other. The cops killed a guy who was like, that shouldn't happen. They're ranting and raving, but you're why the cop look at you that way. You would have to go open for the cop to do something like that. You know what I mean? Right. So when she said to me, you don't want to be a police officer anymore, I felt bad. Because I'm like, when I was talking, I'm like, yo, bro, do your thing, man, fine, whatever. We'll open doors. That's what he said. But then when she said he didn't want to be, like, I felt bad, but then at the same time, I felt good because he didn't want to go that route, but he still wanted to work. And you know, he found out something that he didn't like. It just changed his life. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. Like, we have all kind of things we don't like, things we don't want to say. I'm working with a group right now, the group I keep telling you about. And I'm trying to get the drummer to work with me. I'm telling him that he wants me to give him my lyrics to the song so he can create a rhythm at home. And I'm saying, you can't do that. I guarantee 100% you're not able to create that. You have to now learn to play the rhythm, create a rhythm where you press. It's like you press a button. It's like a CD. Like we have to play like that every time. Because I know we can't do that. So I keep using the word to him. You have to comply with what I'm saying. And I know I was messing up because I know I had to mess with it. He's Rasta. He knocks Selassie. He does a lot of things where it's like he talks about the right, but I keep telling him you can't do that. You can't knock Selassie, cut box your head. You can't knock Selassie and tell me I'm the same thing as another Rasta. You can't knock Selassie and then go off as and talk about other teachers and enlightenment. Don't show me keep hiding yourself as an enlightened leader. I keep telling you gotta comply with these. I know. So I told him we got to a point where it's like you want to see who was more educational. Try to make him know, like, dude, you build something. And then when you're building something to save your life, you start to work with it, you don't want to comply with it. What the hell are you talking about? You're not scared of a word, comply. It was created. You afraid of that word? He's still gonna do it.
Yeah, but highwayman say something tomorrow, they comply quick fast.
So
You tell them something, they're down with it. They're
that's
not
the
gonna
thing that
fight
they
that.
have out there right now. Everybody see like, I talked to a brother last night, and brother laughed. I talked about the reason why I never heard him walk by before. He went so quiet. I was like, "Yo, you still there?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "You know, there are a lot of Rasta, and after because me and my Rasta side, he's like, you know, there's a lot of men with Rasta. They speak 4, 5, 6 different languages. You go somewhere, and people are talking so many different languages, talking shit about them, and ridiculing them, and they will not say nothing." And they make sure that they're open wide because they're not there for racism, ridicule, stereotypes, none of that. So they're so I'm not disrespecting them, but I'm here. Can I hear me call you more time when I'm stressed out? I'm here in the city, and I'm telling you, a lot of them is like they put up these walls. Right? You have to come around. They say Marcus Garvey is a wall that you can't go around.
Yeah.
Right? They put up this wall, and you have to come around the wall and see eye to eye with them or give them a plateau or, you know. And blessed knowing the brother, but you know what I tell them from every day in the city? I tell them straight. Anybody asks me, I say, okay, we had a reason. There's one young guy kept on asking me about Selassie. And Marco also knows where this is going already. So we're there and the brother is trying to talk and I'm trying to make the brother know. King Selassie will be almighty. I don't care what no one says. My king is the almighty. But remember this. My king will wake up every morning. He go across the world and you deal with family issues with his life. My king is the almighty. Marcus Garvey said, this thing is so hard, I don't even know how to talk to my woman. And he married 2 times. You're out there doing enough things, King, and you don't want to admit to it. Yeah. The other day, I had to to myself. I told somebody they should be calling them little boys. I said, you don't do that. You know why? Because if you say that, you can't address your sisters. You have to tell them that they're immature. So as grown as they are, they're being immature. If they're looking for us to be betterment of them, we're supposed to be following their footsteps. So you're supposed to die where you die? What if you die before I die? Long before I even get the ideation. What are you telling me? You're not going to listen to nothing I said? I'm just supposed to bark. And like I said, I'm always live for that. Enough woman came. I went out for me to pick me up. My last 2 summers, even Alpha see me more time. I'm always with youth. On my live feed on the internet, I have to keep digging up the youth. And the guy that went to the NBA from Ottawa, he just renovated the basketball in his neighborhood. Repainted it, did a basketball tournament for the kids, them to the point of getting a giant tiger down here. The Boys and Girls Club, community clubs are trying to get involved with you now to get involved with the youth side. Right?
And that's what it's about.
The basketball court that we renovated, the guy's dad is an African kid, full African, born Canadian. His dad is Sudanese, coaching in basketball. His dad got that basketball court built because the one on the corner is still a hangout spot, but too much activity is going on here and the customers drive by, because it's right on the open. So you got one built inside with a gate and everything. You know what I mean? So I'm
There's
trying,
some problem.
and invite enough people to come out, and everybody loves what I'm doing. But it's just, what's encouragement anymore? Like, literally, I'll get to that point where like, what's encouragement anymore? Because you're doing these things, and they're saying, yeah. When you come and you sit and you talk to them and something like this, right now, Alpha been trying to make me laugh. Alpha knows I'm upset. We've been trying to do, Negus is not here. And you know Negus is still with us. Negus said, yo, I'm not doing no coronation. I said, Negus, please. Negus said, no. Negus said, Kurt, leave it alone. I said, why? Because he said, because when you do it, you don't come respectfully. And anyone that wants to do it, you don't want to do it respectfully. Leave it alone. At least 3 years now, I'm pushing for something. So after when Alpha saw me outside just now, I said, Alpha, I'm coming in Alpha racking so I said, King, I don't want to bother the one head right now. That's all I said. I just want to get here to coronation. I just want to get here. So all the things that you see them talking case, I don't have time for it, man. You know what I mean? As much as you want to argue and big up to Alpha, okay, I want to say that I'm glad I waited and see here, but sometimes the first time out of the way when you told them to leave, I was blessed. Big up to you for your patience and letting them speak again and still having them, because they have nowhere to go. They have nowhere to complain.
They called me, they wanted to come here, not me, but they wanted to come here, they had an
agenda.
to come here and be unruly again.
They have nowhere to complain about. When you complain against each other, they get nothing done. So that's why I said he was asking questions and defensively want answers. When you answer, he's taking whatever they built at home and come here, like you said, what do you call it? Sorry.
So where are we?
The demon possession.
Where are we now?
Right now, well, we're just at Q&A. If anybody has questions, please present those. Whatever questions you got, please send those.
Once again, I said we didn't get to clarify them because I'm trying to follow that. Because there's a lot of things that I get across from the video right now, and I know the king was there. He was throughout the whole Caribbean. He was there some way, somewhere, whether it's not documented. There's no way you went to Jamaica, of all countries, who's supposed to represent so much of people right now, and did not go throughout the Caribbean. I know that. The brother was saying, and I'm going into rude, but he's African coming from Africa, as much as they're asking me, I've been to Jamaica. I don't care what nobody said. In Jamaica, the Caribbean, the whole Caribbean is a whole family right now. Maybe we still getting hold on by politics and stuff, but at the same time, reggae music itself, and what it, not dancehall culture. Reggae music itself represents something in Jamaica. There's a type culture, and he been African and not talking to you about the Maroons. That's why I didn't want to say anything when he was really talking. The whole Caribbean is tied by the Maroons. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Florida too, all up in the North Carolina, all those places.
Exactly. So you know what I mean?
Sister had a question, though.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead and sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to know which place we represent.
Abyssinia?
Yes, because I saw somewhere online that like Rastafari came from Ethiopia, and then now you mentioned that it was Ethiopia.
Yeah, Ethiopia is just a modern term. That's a Greek term.
So it's the same place, it's just
the
and then Abyssinia was an empire, so it stretched
larger than
stretched like part of Kenya, down Tanzania, down the coast, all the way down into India.
Because before, like Africa was called Ethiopia.
At some point, but again, once you say it's Ethiopia in English, but it's really Ethiops, which is Greek. So there's no way the continent was called a Greek name before it was called the original name.
I heard that.
And then, you know, Africa was only North Africa. You know, Tunisia, Algeria, Libya, Morocco. That was where, you know, Africa time, right? That was what Africa was.
Right.
The rest of the continent wasn't called Africa. Just the part right there where, you know,
just that part that
got used to be everywhere else.
So
you know?
So it's the thing that they the power to define is how the colonials got power. They said what it was, and then people went with what they said that it was. And once you go there, now it's not yours anymore. Now it's theirs. And then that's how they get control to be able to do whatever it is that they're doing
and then the people can't really stop it because they're the ones that are perpetuating that it's this fake thing that it is.
Same like Jamaica.
Yeah.
It wasn't called Jamaica.
Right.
Was it called Jamaica?
What was it called?
Jamaica.
And Haiti was called.
And then even before that, they
Haiti
probably
was
called
called
something we know.
Haiti. It's still some of both.
French speaking indigenous language from, 500-600 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amexa.
I have the map. That's another thing too. I have the original map, the map of it. With that language all over. I have that. And how I get that map is another story. We're in at a workplace, hanging out, talking and discussing stuff. And I'm telling them that Jamaica wasn't called that before. It have another name. Could be many more names too before, but the one before Jamaica, it wasn't that. And I told them, they told me that I'm crazy. And short man, you don't know what you're talking about. The owner for the place sit there quiet, not saying a word. And all of a sudden he get up and he go to a cabinet and he open the lock. And in the back there was the map taped in the wall, taped in the back of the cabinet. He said, short man, 12 years ago a Jamaican white man gave it to me, so-called Jamaican. 12 years ago he gave it to me and I taped it up in that cabinet. And now when I hear you talking, I keep thinking, what did I do with this map? What did I do with it? I heard this thing before. And it goes in the cabinet, and there you go. We brought it out to them. Everybody silent. I took the map straight to the printing press. Make me copies. I have my own. Just like
Any more questions? Any questions whatsoever? Mr. Romo.
Question I wanna ask, you get those shirt, I want one.
These were some custom shirts that we did last year. Yeah, they'll be around coming up. What happened was, in order to print them, there was so much work that had to go into making these. We have to find a different way to make them. But once we get them going again, we'll definitely get them going.
embroidery.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite one.
Famous from the music. Famous from the music video.
When I did 500, I was coming down the road and I'm not black.
I was watching a program with this young lady saying she's not black. That's before I know anything about porn.
Okay.
I was thinking there's something really wrong with her.
Is the way she had to defend it and explain herself?
But she couldn't defend it like from the readings and the understanding that she wasn't even defending it the way it's supposed to. But in her mind, I'm saying, well, maybe she's really mentally retarded because okay, let's say I'm not born hard.
You make you ask a lot of questions.
But then, I think she was coming from the point of view from the Moors, but she didn't know how to explain it.
Right. And then even when we yeah, and even when just looking at it from the logic that we're brown. If we look at something black, we don't look like that.
I also find that.
And go back to, just for 1 minute, go back to our little 7 and 8th grade. They give us 8 parts of speech. 8 parts, adjective, noun, pronoun, adverb, you name them. And 2 of them is a noun, is a person, place, or thing. Black is adjective, and I'm proud to be black. Oh, something is wrong. Something is wrong there. You just said known as a person, but how could you be proud to be black, which is the adjective? And this is the speaking, we're speaking, part of the speech we're using. And we know that from school. I remember, but still we didn't know what we know now. This is just like what you were thinking, that lady crazy. I would want to say I'm black, man. You can't give me that now.
So the noun that corresponds with black,
yeah,
the noun that corresponds with the adjective black more.
Okay,
that's right.
It's simple as that.
And again, it's the power to define. The Europeans brought in their little black whoever's that's going to capitalize the adjective to make it a noun. And then we go with that as identity. Because you know, our black leader said capital B, capital N on Negro means that we can call ourselves that. When we really, that was really them selling us out. To be in the place where we're at now, where we don't even know who we are.
On Friday, I was having a conversation with someone in my office about this story about this somewhere in Quebec. They have a book that has the word Negro in it, and they sort of quote parts of the book where they had this black kid reading that, you know, I'm a Negro kind of thing.
Right.
And he was espousing that, well, you know, there they go again to change, they wanted to make changes, but I'm saying, well, listen, there needs to be change. This is old colonialism going on here.
Right.
I am not a Negro, there's this kid. So therefore, so therefore, and it was because of the.
Someone dropped them $5. Everybody dropped $5.
I'll take
Eat to the chef. Put down his cup. Eat to the chef. Chef, dog, good job. You got it.
Like I said, because of what I'm learning about Moors is how I was able to explain to him and quiet
Yeah. And that's what it's supposed to do, because it's truth. You know, and those who are open to receiving the truth, then they will be quiet and accept it.
He wasn't totally quiet because I mean I had to come at him with from different angles.
Yeah.
And then he didn't know where.
Right, there's nowhere else to go. Yeah, it's just like when people bring up, you know, we're slaves or whatever. You know, well, you know, how could we be slaves when slave comes from Slav, which is Europeans? Like, we're not Europeans. Why would we be slaves? You know, how did the slaves maintain being on the water for that long in the bottom of a ship with no washroom?
I'll be dead.
I mean, how they just get off slavery 3 months on a ship and then they just go on the plantation? They get no hose down and nothing like that. Didn't get stretch the crooks out of their neck and nothing like that. Just got off right off the ship, you know, onto the plantation, right onto the slave block, off the ship.
Wasn't there legal ways that legal things that you had to follow coming in America or wherever bringing in slaves? You couldn't just no, I mean like with all of that come across and some of that, there had to be something like that.
No, because again, before Europe had come here, they would never used.
I'm not talking about slavery.
But they're
I'm talking about like I'm talking about like literally when the black man said he was supposed to be free in America, but if he doesn't have certain paper, we kept him at the wrong place. They put it in the chain or whatever. There was process. They did bring people to the Caribbean, but to me that was a whole business industry where you had like they had to have like your certain way of no, yeah, like you carry cattle. You can't carry any way else. Nobody's gonna fix it. You know what I mean? Like as much as I agree with brothers that and I hear what you guys are saying, man himself, not even the black man, the white man himself and his mentality and how he behaved, that I cannot remove that from my life. That he treated people like cattle, people who hunt their own people and slave people. So as much as America was already there, I believe all of it, everything was there. You know? But if a man can find a certain way to put something and get it, it's like I seen something and someone said the new earbud things. It's like $500, $200 for one. And this guy goes, I was on the radio, and the guy goes, I'm gonna go buy one. Next guy said, you're crazy. I want to go somewhere else where I'm paying like $20, $30 for one and I can get like 10 of them in the different colors. Maybe it might not have certain features like the other one, but I'm gonna do it. So it's the same thing. They found a way to make that happen. You know what I mean? Huh? there's no way they did not do that.
Yeah, but they did that to us already over here. They didn't do that by bringing us over here to do that.
No.
They did that to us here.
So that's what I'm saying. When it comes to slavery, and I've seen enough where I have to make up my mind. No. There's a whole business thing where it's like literally you come at this shit has to be a certain way. The whole business, everything has to be a certain way. Because the fact that they signed something and the business shut down, that means the business was running. The fact that Haiti is still paying, that was a big business thing.
You know that still. Did you hear Trump the other day? Because Trump is the slave master for that side over there.
Oh, yeah.
He's a slave master for that. And if you listen, you know that slave is still out. Because he's the head of the slave over there.
I think I heard one thing where he said, when he started realizing that showing up like a lot of black people, it's like, yeah, my black people, I just love it. So my black people, I just love it.
Yes.
People, even man talk like
There
that.
is.
Bernie Spears, man, listen to Bernie Spears. I love what Bernie Spears said it. He talked about Marcus Garvey, he talked about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, talked about all of them, and said they copied it. Yes, they copied it, but at the same time, they sent home Marcus, and Marcus got received like a prisoner, and had to leave to go somewhere else could die. Not to make it sound like Marcus and afraid, and Marcus said, if they can't do it, they are have to just die, right? He leave to go somewhere else, could die.
Okay,
Not
peace,
even Jamaica could I have to get back in America.
peace, good point, more. We have some people want to get their proclamation signed today. So we're gonna keep wrap up, because they're gonna be hitting the highway soon. So, we're gonna finish what he's doing, and then those that are getting the proclamation signed or whatever, can, meet the back and get that all sorted out.
We hope to take a quick picture like we do every time we're here in front of the slide, just to hopefully chronicle this.
So thanks again for coming out and everything, and, this is like a little bit of a fundraiser for our, what we're gonna keep in February. So one again, like that bigger hall, we usually at the university, but you don't have that this year, But, give yourself, kudos for coming out and, for your stuff. So if you guys don't, take the whole of what's yours, then, someone else is gonna be doing it.
And you want to put out you guys have your meetings going on?
Yeah, we usually meet once a month too, and that might be a better forum to hash it out, because there's so many things we're gonna have to hash out. Because we have come from different viewpoints, different perspectives, and we need to, we don't have the time tonight to really sit down and be respectful of each other, and, put what I know, what you know together and figure this thing out. So we do meet once a month here. We go to the law library twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday night. For the law library at the Ottawa University, we want to come out and just supposed to know law. So these are things we do, and we want to. I know this gentleman over here that's Dave. Everybody knows him. He got a lot of community work here. He had a basketball tournament for some for all the youths. He did a great job. It was amazing. Jamal was there refereeing stuff, and he had a great time. People probably Scarborough was up here, and hope to continue that again this year. I think he's doing a Stop the Violence CD coming up too. So he does also products, chamber and these things. So reach out, get to know one another, and create some emails and stuff. And that's just unity strength. So, you know what I mean? Same with the Chinese are unified, or you see the Indian people are talking all unified now. So we need to start putting our money and our energy together.
Any final questions or comments?
It's up to you. Do you think you're ready, or do you want to study some more? If you're asking that question, so I want to study some more.
And again, don't look at it like there's some timeline or whatever that you have to get to before you whatever. Majority of people with this information, if they're really invested in it, light bulb's gonna go off. When light bulb goes off, you're gonna be flooded with so much information, you're not gonna be able to sleep.
Just like
So much info is just gonna be downloading, whether it's sleeping, whether it's you just go somewhere, you see something that say whatever, you'll be driving down the street, you'll be seeing all these signs that say more on it for some reason. You'll be seeing, commercials, whatever. It's just gonna be bombarding you. You know what I mean? That and a lot of that is you realizing that you're there. You know what I mean? Because it's like we keep saying that it's a birthright. So because it's a birthright, it's not something that somebody could sell you. It's not something that you can go out there and buy. It's something that you automatically just gravitate to. Or it gravitates to you.
We should have got it from a bond, but we'll never get it back. But they stole it. Stole it. That's a part of the trickery. So them change the name of Jamaica. Even like when they said just now, this call your children kids. We know that it's only goat out kids.
Right.
Only goat. So why should you call your babies goat kids? You're calling them goat when you say kids.
Even when you say mommy, you're calling your mother.
So you know, we brought these musicians out here tonight, so we don't want to waste them. So while we're wrapping up the meeting and stuff, they're gonna do a little bit of Rick Turco. They're gonna do a little bit of drumming and just and these things. So
turn the fan on.
What about the picture?
yeah, we can do the pictures.
I have a question though.
Yes.
Okay, you said your mother makes you a
Windows
bowl.
That's correct.
I'll just get in that last
So,
bill.
I play a lot with the little children in my area, and my daughter's friends, they're dark colored like my daughter and myself, whatever, but their mother is not more.
That's right.
So are they still?
So technically, by their bloodline,
Yeah,
it's like Obama, right?
yeah, because the blood.
Obama is modern European, so technically the modern European, right? But we're dealing with love, we're dealing with humanity, right? So, and we're also dealing like, okay, like they said, the blood comes from the mother, not from the father, but the child will still get the essence from the father. You'll have some children that look just like their father. So how does that work if the mother is one of the everything? So there's also physical and there's the metaphysical. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people, you go out there, you see Europeans where they were probably quote unquote black guy in the last life. They're, you know what I mean? They're more down this than some of our own people. So you can't just check from, you know what I mean? But yeah, more nationality, bloodline. So we might,
Really,
so
because the bloodline is really strong.
technically been on a more like that, but then we're almost, because we all came from the quote unquote African reality. If you're human, you're a Moor.
Where do I get it?
You know, but when we say more like that, bloodline, political jurisdiction, you got more against the Christians. So you don't have European, right? Not talking about religion, we're talking about the nation.
Oh, I see.
Of the people, right? So, you know, technically, you know, like you said, they're not more like that, but they're more because we're all human.
Right.
And humanity, when Geraldine holding the woman, on her is written humanity. That's who humanity is. And we know the first woman was that thing.
We get this one too. This one goes into
Whether or not we recognize it, we all are.
You're
right.
Everybody comes from the Moabite woman.
Same mother.
Everybody comes from the Asiatic, quote unquote, black woman, even the European.
And the blood that came from her is circulating up to this day in us. It's still in us.
I know about the Indians. The Indians can look white, but they're skin, so it's the same.
Same idea.
So, I have a question I want to ask. So, where is Gandhi coming, or how deep does he come into Canaanland?
I wouldn't say he comes in at all.
No?
He knows that he's
Why do we
because
push it so much with him? Like, he's not money so much, he pushed out the garbage.
same way they're always pushing their
Pushing the
guys.
black guys or whatever. You know, they're gonna push the ones who make them look good.
You might as well add his chin here to cheat.
Gandhi. Yeah.
Because this thing, as much as he nationalized and made them do it, he was very much.
He was not a hero. They put him on hero.
Yeah, but it's just the British.
Well, they pulled down the statue in Ghana, right? They pulled down the statue in Ghana, the big statue they have for Gandhi, that Ghanaian.
Because they found out about his history.
Yeah.
Yeah. Found out about his racist history or whatever. And they said, forget this guy. Yeah. It's not, they didn't know. Right, they won't pull that one down though. They won't pull down them Jesus statue. So we just want to do our every event ritual, get our picture with everybody before
Let's
everything's
do
done.
our picture really
So if
quickly.
you just
And then
get
after,
everybody in front of the flag, quick, fast, so we can get our picture up. Yeah, and then we'll close out after. Well, after we get that picture, we'll close out with the prayer, and then we'll get the musicians to do their thing.
Kirk got his guitar all warmed up.
Needed mods, right?
We got some young money here, some songs for you. I lock the door. But now he's to hear some music.
Okay, this, you made this yourself.
I didn't make it, my mom. No, the bees made it.
So you kidnapped the bees.
Well, my mother, she lives next door to the beekeepers, so.
Oh, for real,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we have lots of bees, so that's always important.
Here?
They're close to
All
starting.
right, Lawrence, you quickly got a sister in here.
Close to our studio.
Yeah, if we get everybody up for
Lawrence, quickly.
Okay, can we move in, guys? Let's keep it moving.
Sorry.
Soon time you can go home soon. Oh, you live long down, man. Come on. Cheer up.
Sorry.
What?
I just don't want to get the back.
Well, and a round of applause for.
Yeah, thank you so much. For putting up with that boisterous noise. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be able to provide a safe space, right?
That's right. You guys coming in or what?
No. I'm sure, and I'm just glad to hear from you. I do this all the time, I'm good. Try not, I can't, let me, we'll edit out the top. Oops, something happened. Okay. One, take another one, ready? Two. Just telling you, I'm taking another one. You ready? You guys want to change up your pose or something? Because I've got to do the same pose. You good? Sir, can you just get a little bit closer? Thank you very much. Okay. You want to check if you like it? Okay, come check if it's good.
Which one was that? From that? We have. Disaster. How are you? How are you? Yeah, we have it. I have you. Just have it. Take notes.
Sure, good.
Wonderful.
Hey!
Oh, it's over.
We're just finish off with a prayer and then the musicians are gonna five on the left, two on the right.
A lot of Father of the universe.
Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Truth,
peace, freedom,
and justice.
God my protector.
God my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. His holy prophet.
Those dwelling. Ashe. All right.
Very good. So that's great. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys in February.
Okay.
For sure.
Any proclamations? We can get those done.
Okay, who's doing, anyone's wanting their?
Yeah, we're gonna go in the back and do the proclamation.
February
All right. Proclamations, we'll do it at the back table. Yeah, all right.
Turn it this way. You wanna see? You never did. You can't be a musician and be afraid of being house music. The vibe music.
Live music all day.
Oh, no, we did that.
Yeah, you want this?
One So I really want to do that one for Alpha long term. So the first one is called Majesty, and the second song is called Survivalist. The two songs about is in pure majesty, so the whole melody is called Majesty Survivalist. Thank you very much for your guys. How was your journey? So right now, the first time I said my
And then
Where I want this crystal. Bro, this thing is still on? Well, it's over, guys. Everyone can leave now. Why is the Prophet EOB do this? What is that? 1886 to 1885.
No, when you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying? He's Jamaican. There's no more, you don't get what I'm saying. It's like, no, like, anointedly, Jamaican.
system. So.
When you talk on someone's speak, I don't know.
But I would say this, I rather use the
Well,
they want to see
It's not, he's just there. You're right. What was it?
Well, I would say I would say
Right now, I know it's not actually illegal, but now that it's
I'm so sorry. I know I always
absolutely.
And I think they're trying to solve this year or 10 years from now. We're going to get lost to the media, everything.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I see. I see.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I took that son. I wanted to get my name. I wanted a son. And then I got the son, and I found a way to do that son. I have structure. And
Oh, see, same time you do it. What's running?
Yeah. Yeah, just, whatever, not familiar with, look it up, you can use online law dictionary or whatever to look up, the different terms or whatever, and, all that is just about, that's sort of the language that you're speaking. You're talking sort of all that. Away from coloring knowledge about the but also look up decorations. Those talking the same language. Just to familiarize yourself with indigenous rights. Once it gets familiar, then you need to understand when somebody signs sign here or whatever. Actually, it's going to be a sort of
Should the women's contract?
yeah. There's no longer on the line. Those are corporations. That's more science temples here.
I should have listened.
Contract. That's what it might be. Board of director on okay, so you have a board. You have a board right now. I don't know. There's people involved with it. That's right. That help me to run. Right. They might do this on the board. Right. The registration, right? The registration, right? amended so that we bring that now into what business aspect. Right. Before it wasn't written. You were doing corporate. That's right. Okay. So they're now indigenous idea or you can re-register. Yeah.
So the other way you talk about is because of
So they already have the concept of that's right. That's right. You get it. You get all the alterations that you're gonna make. That's
That's what I expect this on. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
With corporations, there's so many ways to get your corporation. So in my opinion, protecting so it's with the community. I'm wondering if I can keep that going. No one.
That's what we got.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, that's what I thought for that.
What?
So we want to get it to come back. Islam wars, peace and love. We're out of here.